woo. Oh, whoa.
Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Sir is over there. We're starting strong with we've got Fennec has been subscribed for 12 months over on Twitch, and Progress Only for a $5 super chat says Canadians enjoy their chips like asexuals enjoy their partners, all dressed. I was in Windsor last weekend and bought some. The bad joke came after. Much like women.
They come after as a matter of convenience.
Did you get ketchup chips as well? Oh, we got hats starting already. And also, word of the day down there, cacistocracy. Government by the least qualified or most unprincipled citizens. Government by the worst men. Government under the control of the nation's worst or league qualified citizens. That's
I
just
wonder if
apropos
that
of nothing.
applies.
Apropos of nothing. Just a neat word that I thought we should all know.
I don't know if that applies to anything that's recently happened or not. Why would you introduce me to this weird word?
I don't know. Well, it just... Okay, so when I first saw it, I was like, okay, did somebody, like, try to... Okay, let me just...
Oh, whoa.
Did, Okay, Karen Tuplin says, can I say thanks for my gifted membership? It's greatly appreciated, because somebody gifted them a membership. Yeah, so when I first saw cacistocracy, my first thought was somebody was trying to steal, like, Kekistan and, like, flip it and be like, oh yeah, no, the Keks are ruling the country, so they're all a bunch of incompetent boobs. But then I looked up the etymology and it's like, nope, cacistocracy's been a thing since the 1700s.
Huh.
So, yeah, it's just...
Sounds like a load of cack.
It is a load of cack. Yeah, so, that's apropos of nothing, just no reason. So how you doing?
I am doing pretty okay. I am actively enjoying World of Warcraft right now, as they've added in a bunch of things into Season of Discovery that makes me very happy. I love when games take an old version of a client and modify it to where it's almost a completely different thing, but it's still very recognizably what it was years ago. I like that kind of modification on withered technology. That's great. Also, Magic the Gathering released its Foundations set recently, which made me super excited because I've been looking forward to a return to Magic the Gathering as a game on its own and not Magic the Gathering as it crosses over with Doctor Who, or Magic the Gathering as it crosses over with the Marvel Universe, or as it crosses over with Fortnite as it becomes Fortnite.
As it becomes Fortnite?
So one of the things Fortnite's known for is all the crossovers, and that's what Magic's been doing for like years now. We have a Final Fantasy crossover later this year.
The CEO of Wizards of the Coast just like stands on a hill in Fortnite, looks out over the thing, and says, "I am become Fortnite."
I am become Fortnite, consumer of IPs.
Exactly. Zeth's desk says there's a Doctor Who Magic crossover. Yeah.
Yep, there is.
I don't play Magic the Gathering, and I knew that.
I have been trying to get him to play Magic the Gathering.
You haven't been trying very hard. You've just been ribbing me on stream and then not doing anything about it after the stream.
Okay, what would I do about it afterwards that wouldn't seem incredibly invasive or pestering?
Well, I mean, in theory, we're friends, so you could, like, text me.
In theory, we're friends. We do text each other.
Yeah, we send each other memes and shit, so you text me like, hey, do this. Or so, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know how to get people to do things because I don't try.
What? So, hold on. So you're going to judge me on a skill that I apparently lack, which is entirely fair, but you're doing it from a glass house.
Yes.
Okay, as long as we're on the same page about that. Jessa, son of a fucking cock shit!
Oh, God. Oh.
Fucking...
Oh, whoa.
There, you got your thing. Go
God damn
die in
it.
a fire.
I fat-fingered the thing, so instead of recording your ooh, I just played. So he said that at exactly the same time. Anyway, I still have the button.
Oh, woo. Oh, woo. Oh, woo.
So, yeah.
Something, small beans, baby. Yeah. Please don't tell me that I just came.
That's my favorite button.
Please don't tell me that I just came.
Okay, my partner just said what in an incredulous voice, so I would like to retract my statement about that being my favorite button. It is the come button. So it's related.
Not your favorite button, though. Can't be.
Yeah, there's a different favorite come button.
You've been a bad girl.
Not that one.
Fucker Carlson.
Okay. So, because the news is so depressing and realistic... Oh, Fennec spanking me. Thank you for the spanks, Fennec.
Oh, my.
Thank you for the spanks, Fennec.
Please don't tell me that I just came.
So, yeah. In the last couple weeks, I've been kind of rethinking this show. Not in the sense that I want to, like, completely pivot and do different stuff entirely as you're doing with your main channel, but I'm just like, if you're coming to me for news that you're learning, then, like, you maybe need to reevaluate your news sources, because I'm a fucking YouTuber wearing a flower hat. Like,
you're also getting the news 2 weeks late.
Yeah, well, sometimes it is semi-breaking stuff. I mean, like, one of the news items here, the breaking news actually happened while we were streaming last week, so so it is a little bit late, but I couldn't pass on the story. So I've decided that I'm going to try and focus more on, like, stories that I find amusing rather than political stuff all the time. Like, if there's something super duper important, we'll cover it, but, like, we don't need another source of depression in our lives. We know all the shit the Republicans are going to do. We know the playbook. There are plenty of much larger creators than I am that are going to keep everybody up to date with that. So, like, Scathing Atheist and Skeptocrat from the Puzzle and the Thunderstorm guys. They're the guys that have the God Awful Movies podcast. Those are, like, you can learn about atheist and atheist-related political stuff from those two podcasts. There's opening arguments for legal stuff. There's Friendly Atheist for more atheism-related stuff. So, like, I'm small beans. I'm small beans, little babies. So instead of getting all depressed here, I figured we could come here to have some fun. Yes, we will talk about serious stuff. There's one of my 3 news stories is very related to serious stuff. Rosina Jerkinjello Keller says, I come to you for the feet pics. I might actually have a WikiFeet page now.
Are you sure you don't come to him for the feet pics? Or come for him to the feet pics?
Something like that. I just typed in wikifeet.com without actually realizing, like, I don't know if that is actually the website. Why is my internet going slow right now? Okay, here we go. Vice Rhino. Do I have a page yet? Somebody left a comment on one of my videos that suggested that they might have set one up for me.
I mean,
502 Bad Gateway. They're getting a Cloudflare thing going on. Okay, WikiFeet is under attack, ladies and gentlemen. That's the breaking news for tonight. WikiFeet is under attack.
I guess it is.
Sure, whatever. But yeah, well, as long as we're talking about unexpected porn, that actually leads us right into our first story tonight.
What?
Mattel apologizes for link to porn site on Wicked movie doll boxes.
I've also just been informed that somebody apparently posted Dark Magician Girl in the server. Okay, did they post Dark Magician Girl like alone, or was it Dark Magician Girl porn?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I need to know for science. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Where is it? I see a Mewtwo card.
Is this related to unexpected porn?
I see. Yep. No, it's just Dark Magician Girl winking at me. Okay, I'm hard. Let's go.
Okay.
Please don't tell me that I just came.
Yeah, so Mattel made a bunch of dolls for the movie Wicked that is coming out. And yeah, but they wanted to have a link to the movie website on the boxes, which of course is wickedmovie.com. But what that
sounds like a porn site.
It does. But what's worse though is that somebody, where they were designing the boxes or whatever, typed out wicked.com, which is there are movies at wicked.com, and I'm sure you can find some with ladies with green skin there.
Yeah.
But wasn't associated with the toy brand. So
my breasts will try defying gravity.
So yeah, someone gonna lose their job down at the box factory. Sorry, Kurt. That was a Simpsons deep cut. Not even a deep cut. That was like a medium cut. Anyone who watches The Simpsons should know that reference.
It was a cut.
It was a cut. Mattel has apologized after boxes of some of its new dolls from the movie Wicked included a link to a pornographic website. The packages for the dolls were printed with a web address to an adult film site with the same name as the upcoming movie musical starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. And I'm sure they probably also feature movies by people cosplaying the same characters.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
It's guaranteed that exists somewhere. Actually, I did once make my partner sit through the actual porn version of The Wizard of Oz, which is absolutely terrible in like the funniest of ways.
Every licensed porn, or not licensed porn, but like mocking satire porn, all of them, they're all bad.
Yeah, but this was like they're all bad, but a lot of them are just like bad and like, I don't want to watch this. They're clearly just trying to fill time in between sex scenes, whereas this one was like, it was actually funny what they were doing. Like, and not like they knew what they were doing. I think they hit the sweet spot where they did it on purpose. I don't know. It's a fun movie. I recommend it. And the special effects are just as good as the original Wizard of Oz movie.
I mean, they were mostly practical effects. They're good on a CRT.
There may be some problematic stuff with the first sex scene though. They're in Munchkin Land, and they say porn is not always the wokest when it comes to dealing with like little people and people from minorities.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Rosina says, what's funny is even using the proper URL, Wicked movie, caused a lot of people to go to the porn site. Yeah, no, if I'm looking for the Wicked movie, I'm like, okay, well, it's a movie. It'd be wicked.com, right? Like, no, it would not be. Mattel has apologized for the boxes, describing the links as a misprint. Mattel was, I love their press release because they're like, it's such a funny thing when they're trying to be so serious about it. And it's like, Mattel was made aware of a misprint in the packaging of Mattel Wicked collection dolls, primarily sold in the United States, which intended to direct consumers to the wickedmovie.com landing page. We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. What action? Like, I mean, obviously you're fixing.
What do you actually do to remedy that though? Like, do you go buy the domain?
All right, here we go. Drew Harrison's got a good point. Star Wars was a terrible movie in nearly every way, but not enough to be campy. I have seen that one as well. It is not one that I like. I have watched the Wizard of Oz one multiple times because it's so funny and stupid. The Star Wars one, nah. It's yeah, no, but like, what action are they taking to remedy this? Or like, is it issuing refunds? Is there going to be a class action lawsuit for like people whose children were harmed by this or something?
Yeah, I don't know what you do in this situation at all besides
like,
just
like the remedy is just like, okay,
sorry that your kids just saw dick.
The new
We're
box.
Sorry.
I mean, it's a porn site in the 21st century. There's a pop-up asking your age first, so like, obviously you get that. It's like, okay, nope, this is the wrong site, and you leave. And if your kid does not leave, then they're interested in that, and like, that's the thing that kids are going to find anyway.
This is why they do the whole parental supervision on websites shtick every time.
Yeah. Pull the dolls from the shelves until they can would they fix it with just stickers? Because I feel like stickers can be peeled off and people are going to be like, I feel like the dolls in their original boxes with the wrong thing are going to become a collector's item. Not like,
oh my God, I'm going to have to go buy Wicked dolls. It's my long-term retirement investment.
Not like long-term. In 10 years, nobody will remember this happens and nobody will care. But like 2 years from now, they might be worth a pretty penny. It's going to be one of those like investment toy things that like, if you sell it at the right time, it was great. But like after that, the window's closed, like NFTs. But,
yeah, and most meme coins. Speaking of fucking meme coins, God, sidebar.
We're getting to that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I forget whether it's the... Actually, yeah, no, it's the next news item. We kind of talk about that a little bit. So parents are advised that the misprinted incorrect website is not appropriate for children. You'd think they would be advised of that when the big pop-up saying, hey, this is an adult website for 18 years old and up. Like, that's the advisory there. But consumers who already have the product are advised to discard the product packaging or obscure the link and may contact Mattel customer service for further information. Because, you know, kids seeing the word... You need
more information about it's porn. There's dicks there.
So like, they're really worried about, like, kids who are buying toys that are branded as Wicked might be harmed by seeing the word Wicked, because that's potentially leading them to a naughty website, but they don't know it's a naughty website unless they go there. So like, why do you need to obscure it? Why can't you just say like, hey, don't go to that website? Like, I don't know. I
don't know. It's outside of my purview.
Like, I get why they have to issue statements like this, but it does seem like an overreaction. Like, our culture is so prudish.
It seems funny.
Fennec is saying, like, so who goes to websites on toy boxes? Like, nobody. It's like, who scans QR codes? The only time I scan a QR code is when I'm in some, like, hipster restaurant that has their menu on QR codes, and you have to get out your phone to look at the menu.
Like Buffalo Wild Wings?
Do they do that?
Yep.
I don't know. Last place I was at that did that was some place in Port Dalhousie.
They also started doing something where, like, you can't pay with card or cash. You have to pay with your phone. That was obnoxious as shit.
So, side note, I fucking hate the bank that I have my car loan with. It's like 6 weeks ago, the money for the payment was in the wrong account, so it didn't come out of that account, and the payment bounced. And they called me, like, a week or 2 weeks later being like, hey, your payment bounced, you need to make that payment. And I'm like, Okay, take it out of the account again. I have now put the money there. You're like, oh no, we can't do that. You need to manually pay it. Why can't you do every other fucking loan I have? Like, I have ADHD. The money's in the wrong account all the goddamn time. This is not a new phenomenon for me. I once had a mortgage payment bounce that I called the bank to let them know that the mortgage payment bounced before they knew that it bounced. And they were like, are you sure you want me to try again? Because we don't see that it bounced over here. I'm like, yeah, no, I got charged the NSF fee. I know it bounced. Just take it again. So like before they even knew it was a problem, I had proactively fixed it. But like for some reason, this bank is just like, no, we can't take the money out of the account until you go and pay the past due amount.
We can't make life convenient for you, our customer. That would go against company policy. Yeah. And if we did that, the CEO might not be able to afford a new gold-encrusted toenail.
Yeah, and so, but if the story's not over, Cyrus, because now this turned out not to be true in the end, but the first person that talked to me told me that I had to go into a physical branch of the bank to make the payment.
What?
Like I couldn't set it up on my bank. So I went into a physical branch to pay it, and I get there, and the teller is like, will you be paying by cash or check? I'm like, I don't have cash on me. I haven't written a check since I was renting.
Who the fuck writes checks?
Like, what? Like, no, I like, see, my debit card, I'm good. Like, I put it in the machine and I type in my numbers and then you take the money out of my account, just like every other fucking business on but apparently there's regulation in Canada where like banks can't take other banks' debit cards. So I was like, so I had to drive across town to an ATM from my bank so I could take out the money so I could drive back to this place. I'm like, I give it to her. I'm like, this is the first time I have touched cash in years. Like, slight exaggeration, but like the only reason I touch cash is when the kids need money for the school cafeteria, and that. It's just like, what is going on here? And then turns out, by the time all that had happened, the next payment had not come out yet, and I guess they don't take out the payments until I bring it back up to date. So like in another 2 weeks, they call me and are like, hey, you need to pay your bill. I'm like, I tried to pay my bill. I went into the bank and paid my bill. And it just kept snowballing. So like 6 weeks go by and I finally get everything to a point where I think it's up to date now. I'll find out in like a week. But it's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Horribly, apparently.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the, like, I almost want to like just get another car loan from a different bank just to like move it away from them.
I mean, at a certain point, you just kind of go, I've been inconvenienced enough. Fuck you. Bye.
Yeah, like this is a loan that I've had for less than a year. And like, I'm sorry, the money was in the wrong account. And I'm not just mad at the bank that I have the loan with. My bank is also stupid because I have overdraft protection of $1,000 on that account. And when the loan failed to come out initially, it was like, I was only like $30 short. So I would have been like in the negative by $30. And they were like, oh no, we just bounce it because that's a different kind of transaction. So that's not covered by the overdraft protection. Like, what the fuck is the point in having overdraft? Like, is that not the point that like, I'm just short a little bit of money. The money's in the wrong account. So you just make that happen magically on your own. And I'll just pay you back when I notice that there's a problem. Like, is that not the purpose?
I got pissed at my bank for a similar thing where I have a couple of like automatic transactions that came out and a couple of them stacked back to back. So it ended up being like your overdraft protection happened and then you're charged $30. And then your overdraft protection happened again. And now you're charged an extra $30 on top of that. And it ended up being like $120.
See, that's the thing. I actually really like my bank's overdraft protect. I mean, they're changing it apparently because this used to work. But it used to be like if you go in the negative, you have until midnight of that day to bring it back in the positive, and if you do, no charge. If you stay in the negative past that day, you get charged $5. And if it stays in the negative for more than a month, or like till the next billing cycle or whatever, that's when they start treating it like you have taken out a loan, we're charging interest or whatever. So like you have usually a couple weeks to get it back in the positive, and you're only paying $5. So like, I like that, but it's at a point where like, okay, no, I've just been charged a $45 NSF fee for a payment that I was $30 short on, and the overdraft protection should have covered that. I don't know why. I don't know. And Rosine is asking, is debit card kiting a thing in Canada? Why else ban cross-bank debit cards? I would assume that, like, I don't know what debit card kiting is, but
I've never heard that term before.
I feel like check kiting is that thing where, like, you would write a check and cash it, and then before it had a chance to bounce, you would, like, write another check or something. It's playing around with bouncing checks to make yourself more, like, I didn't know you could do that with debit cards, because like everything's instantaneous here, so I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with how you would make that work either, because that's kind of how things are here too. They're just instant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, debit cards I think are a little bit different here than they are in the States. Because I know, like, a debit card is just basically, it's tied directly to my bank account, and it just comes directly out of my bank account. But you can't use your debit card to buy things online. You still need credit cards for that. But now some debit cards have become like credit debit cards, where like you can use it as a credit card, but it still just takes it out of your account instead of borrowing money. I don't know.
That's how all of my debit cards have worked for the past 10 years.
Okay, I don't know. I just know that we've had debit cards in Canada a lot longer than you guys have, and like I remember as an adult going to the States with my debit card and being confused as to why I couldn't buy anything with it. Why do you guys not have this stuff?
I will be right back. I need to use the restroom.
Okay. What was that? No, they're not. They're asking me all sorts of questions about my find. Alex says abolish capitalism. Sure, I'd agree with that. Like the whole, it's extremely expensive to be poor because of all the NSF fees and higher interest rates and impossible to get a mortgage. So you pay fucking, what is it? Rent. And rent has to be more expensive than mortgages, because nobody's going to take out a mortgage on a property and then lose money on that property renting it out to people. So, yeah. Lord of Uzkalak says, do you at least have contactless cards over there? Yeah, we've had contactless cards since well before the States got them. Like, I want to say I started using Tap to Pay in, like, 2015. Like, it really became common during the pandemic. Like, that's when Walmart was like one of the last big stores to get on board with that, and it took the pandemic to get them there. But like, yeah, contactless has been a thing here for longer than in the States. And yeah, Uzkalak, you're in the UK, so you've been able to use debit cards online for at least a decade or two here in the UK. It's possible that there have been ways to do that here as well, but I was not aware of them.
I have returned with the most important meal of the day, the pizza Lunchable.
Pizza Lunchable, all right. Okay, next news item. Delusional Richard Dawkins thinks Elon Musk is a good guy.
Oh, okay, that's what?
This is coming to us from friendlyatheist.com, Hemant Meta. So yeah, there's one thing we've learned about Elon Musk over the past few years is that he's not a tech genius. He's a red-pilled billionaire who has used his unimaginable wealth to make one dumb decision after another, at least if the goal is to make the world a better place. Yeah, so no, not all of his decisions have been dumb for himself. Like, he's been lucky about which companies he has bought at which times. And like, if you actually look into like how he made his fortune from the fortune that he started with, how he made his massive fortune from the moderate fortune that he began with, it's like, it really was just luck.
Like, he just happened to buy the right companies when he should have.
Yeah, essentially that's basically it. And then once he had enough money, it eventually became a thing of like, hey, it would be cool if this would happen. Now here's a bunch of money, make it happen. And then sometimes some of that would happen.
Yeah, sometimes
that
you
is
get
how
a rocket to be caught, and other times you get a tunnel that is fucking stupid.
Yeah. And then other times you reinvent the train,
Yeah.
except you make it worse.
Have you seen that thread? There was a thread on Twitter a while ago that was like the times that tech bros reinvented the train or just like discovered the train. And it's
Yeah.
just all these different design concepts, but they're all made like post 2015.
I like
And it's just a fucking rail car.
I like the one that's like a rail car on stilts that like travels over top of the highways, over top of the other cars. And it's like just picturing an accident with that thing where like a car smashes into one of the legs. Now everybody's dead.
Like,
it's like, meanwhile, there are a lot of places where the train tracks just run parallel to the road. You can just get on the train.
it turns out just having a good transit system where the actual rail is above the road or parallel to the road works way better than whatever the fuck that design is.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, this is what you were getting at earlier, is that Trump has appointed Elon Musk along with Vivek Ramaswamy to run the Department of Government Efficiency, which
Doge department.
which is the Doge department. Yeah, ha ha ha, funny. But like what Hemant here is pointing out is like, and a lot of people have pointed out, is like, it's a Department of Efficiency but requires 2 people to run it. And also, like, you're creating a new government organization to make sure that there aren't too many government organizations. Like, sorry?
It
Does
just
that
kind of
make any
defeats
sense?
the purpose.
Yeah, like, it shouldn't be a...
It's literally just Musk... It's literally just that Elon Musk donated enough money.
Yeah.
So that Trump went, okay, cool, you have a position in my government because you donated money. And I'm going to be honest, that should be fucking illegal.
Yeah.
Because that's just quid pro quo. That's all that is.
Is it not illegal? Because I feel like this is one of those things that is illegal, but because these guys get away with whatever the fuck they want, it's not like nothing's going to come of it.
Apparently not illegal enough.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but on top of that, like, a whole department of government efficiency, it shouldn't be a department. Like, if anything, if this needs to exist in the first place, it should be just like one guy, like the Secretary of Government Efficiency. It shouldn't be a department. So it, like, its very existence defeats its own purpose.
Don't tell Musk that. He needs it for his ego.
I mean, everything that man does at this point defeats its own purpose.
Did you see the Adam Conover video, Elon Musk one?
Possibly.
So
was it a new one or an old one?
It was a new one. He made a very good point.
Sure
he made a very good point in that video that I hadn't considered before for Elon Musk. And that's that we spent so much time making fun of the purchases that Elon Musk made and all of the money he's lost in making those purchases, that nobody was looking at the power he was consolidating by making those purchases.
I disagree. A lot of us were pointing out that's exactly what he was doing. I'm not saying that I was one of those people pointing out, but I've heard people have been pointing that out for years.
I think for Adam, it's mostly legacy media that he's talking about. Because for most people, that's what they consume anyway.
Rosina says, contactless chip and pin wasn't a thing in the US because dedicated phone lines are so cheap in the US. Merchants could always do live validation of credit debit transactions instead of waiting. Wait, do they have to wait for the contactless payment things? I don't know. Whatever. That's previous conversation. But yeah, Musk is a rich shit poster with a giant marketing budget, a guy creepy enough to say that he would impregnate Taylor Swift because he can't handle the idea of childless women. Pointing out guys like him are obsessed with fertility rates, taking care of his own children, not so much. Impregnating people, absolutely. So, oh yeah, the U.S. Government Accountability Office exists too. So like, yeah, that already is kind of that. So like, it's a redundant department that is supposed to be focused on efficiency. Like what?
Nope. It's just here so that Musk can feel important.
Yeah, so as one critic put it, It's just a guy on Twitter. Musk is an apartheid, blood emerald skipping dipshit illegal alien who's never invented anything but acquires businesses and hostile board takeovers, then gets sued for racial discrimination over and over and over. Is he an illegal immigrant?
So he not? His immigration status was called into question about a month ago.
Like legitimately called into question, or called into question a la show me Barack Obama's birth certificate?
No, even Elon Musk has said that his citizenship in the United States is kind of dubious.
Oh, fucking deport the motherfucker.
You know, in a functional country, we might. Just
no, in a functional country, he's way too rich. They're still gonna just let him do whatever the fuck he wants.
In a functional country, we look at him the same way that France looked at their nobles. Just saying.
Do you know that during the French Revolution, they decapitated a bunch of the statues at Notre Dame that were supposed to represent the 12 kings of Israel because they thought they were French monarchs?
Did not know that.
Yeah, so like, even in a perfectly justified revolution, education helps. We don't need to deface historic monuments that are actually like of cultural significance.
Yeah, unfortunately. You can't, I will say this, you cannot educate an entire proletariat on everything.
Yeah.
And especially once you start getting a mass of people together, people tend to do stupid things when in mass, just in general.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that I never went to any, or one of the few reasons, there was a few of them, but one of the reasons I didn't attend any of the BLM protests was just in case I happened to be swept up in one of those very, very stupid things that would happen. Like, I don't know, a Wendy's being burned down.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. And and it's not like I'm sitting here passing judgment and being like, oh, those stupid, ignorant peasants shouldn't deface such a beautiful building. Like, nah. Like, honestly, that's probably, like, in the grand scheme of things that happened in France during that time period, that's, like, pretty low down on the priority list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, So why the hell does Richard Dawkins think Musk is one of the smartest, most altruistic men alive?
Because Richard Dawkins is an idiot in everything but his field.
Yeah, so...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, even in his field... actually, I don't know about that. It's like, I'm saying even in his field, thinking he's a biologist, and so he should have a better understanding of the difference between sex and gender, and how sex is not a binary, it's actually bimodal spectrum. But thinking back on... I'm pretty sure that his area of expertise is actually specifically zoology. So like
not microbiology.
Yeah, it's not genetics, it's not microbiology, it's not reproductive biology. Like, it's not something that would necessarily impart that knowledge on him. So yeah, he might be a very excellent zoologist who has no clue what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to reproduction.
No, and that is likely the case. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to say any particular creator names because I don't need to throw other people under the bus, but like, when people positively associate with Dawkins now, it leaves a really fucking bad taste in my mouth. And it makes me reconsider the respect I had for content creators who still buddy up to him.
So apparently Musk's won't have to divest of his assets because he claims Doge is a consulting department, not a government department, but Doge has a gray check mark, which I guess is the color for government departments. Yeah, I hadn't even considered that. I didn't, like, are you supposed to divest if you're in charge of a government department? That makes sense that you would.
It would make perfect sense.
But Trump didn't have to divest when he was president last time. He made a show of divesting to his kids that he then put in charge of a bunch of government shit, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter whether or not he's supposed to. He's not going to, and nobody's going to make him. Like, I'm done thinking that any sort of rule of law is going to win out in the States at this point.
Yeah.
My optimism has been crushed. It doesn't exist anymore. I was actually like having a moment of nihilism where I was at one point where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Why even bother fighting against climate change at this point? Just let the fucking world burn. We're just going to kill ourselves off and the world will be better off for it. Like, I'm not saying that that is actually my position, but that was my mood the other day.
I've felt similarly over the bit. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think that maybe one of the things that contributed to me doing my channel pivot was not only the channel not doing as well, but just part of the burnout is feeling like the battle is exclusively uphill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost impossible, to a scary degree, it is almost impossible to tell when headway is being made at all.
Yeah. And yeah, when I thought headway was being made, and then Trump happened again.
Yeah,
just like,
and that showed me a lot of issues with the Democratic campaign as well. When you make a campaign that ignores large swaths of your support group and tries to cater to Republicans, let's be honest, a lot of the Democratic campaign literally tried to cater directly to Republicans.
Yeah, spent a lot of time with Liz Cheney in the end there.
Yeah, like, what do you... Like, stop trying to court the Republican vote. Stop. These people voted for a psychopath. They're going to keep voting for a psychopath. So just stop fucking trying to court them. It's okay for individual people on the ground to try to court them, because individual people on the ground have the advantage of being a family member, a longtime friend, a lover. People on the ground have these biases that they can exploit to get somebody's mind to change. But when you're far enough away from the general populace, stop ignoring your fucking base. It's only a numbers game at that point. Start treating it like only a fucking numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
And if your loudest voices on the left are your Free Palestine folks, then maybe it would be a good idea, just maybe, to, you know, try to operate as if you give a shit about that set of your constituents.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I don't know. The
campaign... I did a lot of apologizing for her, saying like, oh yeah, she was giving the politically expedient answer with regards to Israel-Palestine. I'm just like, you know what? Didn't fucking matter either way. Like, honestly, that issue was not something that brought people to the polls either. Like, people were not...
No, it was the economy. People voted with their wallets.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing.
Like, so like, it's not like it would have hurt her campaign to just be like, hey, no, I will actually cut aid to Israel until they stop genociding.
Yeah. Instead,
she could have just done... She could, like, I know this is one of those hindsight is 2020 things, but like, if I could go back in time and be like, no, just fucking cut their aid. Like, you're gonna lose this way, so at least try to do the humanitarian thing.
I would say that the biggest thing with the Democratic campaign, it's one of the reasons why them ignoring their base pissed me off. They focused entirely and exclusively on middle class issues and not working class issues. I understand that middle class is working class, yes, but the middle class has shrunk so far that it barely exists as a voting demographic, and the middle class as a voting demographic historically leans right anyway. So fuck it and fuck them. Start catering to your lower classes. Start catering to the people who don't make $100,000 a year. Start, instead of doing what the Democrats did, where they told working class people, the economy's great. What are you talking about? Don't fucking do that. That's idiotic. No, there's a friend of mine who's
the economy
very,
was great, but eggs are still expensive.
Yeah, like there's a friend of mine who actually is a master's in economics and is really, really good at what he does. And when I brought up my points on the economy, I was on stream with Ocean, and he came into the chat and pointed out, like, actually, by all these metrics, we're doing fine. We're doing fantastically. And I'm like, yeah, and it doesn't feel that way to anybody.
Yeah, because
the economy asterisk may be good, but nobody can fucking afford food. Nobody can afford shit. Everybody's rent is higher. Everybody's mortgage is higher.
I think we need to like really rethink the metrics by which we say the economy is doing good. Because like, yeah, the economy is doing good in that there is a lot of money changing hands repeatedly, which is what makes the economy do good. But like, if a lot of that money is people giving 75% of their paycheck to pay their rent, and then the landlords spend the money on a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's not
like
helpful.
that's not great. and honestly, the economy would do better if the rents were lowered and they could actually spend that money on comfort things like disposable income stuff. If people have, when people have disposable income, they spend that disposable income, and that makes the economy good. So like, yeah, the economy was good, but it could have been better if there was like if just housing prices were lower.
Like it feels
anyway,
like
I have to
the
get to the
most
super chat before I forget about it. But Alyssa Phillips says, I was a huge fan of the band Nightwish, but as a trans woman, when I saw Dawkins on stage with them, it put a bad taste on my mouth. Absolutely. 100%. I can see that.
Like it makes me angry watching people go do positively associated things with Dawkins when Dawkins doesn't do anything to disenfranchise himself from transphobes. He courts them constantly. Jed in my chat says it's like saying unemployment is down. Like, yeah, of course it is. I have 3 of those jobs. That didn't fix anything. Like, yeah, there are more jobs on the market and more people need to have multiple of them now. It's stupid.
Yeah, there's I heard a podcast where they were talking about some research that just came out where parents are spending a lot more time with their children, and at the same time they're feeling a much higher level of stress with regards to their ability to properly parent their children, not just with regards to like, oh, like, am I signing them up for enough extracurricular stuff, but also with just like, I need money to feed these kids.
Yeah.
Because like having kids is expensive, and like, and especially like, am I preparing my child to go out in the, like right now, one of my biggest worries is I have a kid that is not too far away from moving out on their own. And I'm just like, the jobs that I could get when I was their age would not have even come close to being able to pay even the smallest of rents right now. Like my partner, before she moved in with me, she was living in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment, and her rent was like $1,700 a month.
Yeah, who is that for?
When I the last place I rented was like 13, 14 years ago. It was a townhouse. It was 2 bedrooms, but it was like significantly bigger than my partner's apartment was. And it was like $750 a month. And that was the most expensive place I ever rented. Like, wages have not gone up that same amount. Like that is not how it should be.
Like, I've been considering picking up an extra job on top of doing my channel stuff, because it's like, one, obviously the channel pivot's going to be expensive. There's no real way around that. But on top of that, even if my channel does well, at the current rate of how everything's going, it's going to get too expensive to live. Like that event horizon is going to happen, and there's not a goddamn thing I can do about it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the article. Yesterday, Dawkins rightly called Trump out as a mendacious, malevolent, transparently evil man, but then added that Musk was diametrically opposed to Trump and had the welfare of the world at heart. I don't know, because he's fucking sucking the guy's dick. He hoped that Musk would therefore steer Trump in the right direction. So notably, none of the pictures are showing up in my pocket pull of this article. I recommend going to read the original article yourself. There's more than what I'm just seeing here. But Elon Musk responded to Dawkins, so I took a screenshot. It says, "I very much disagree with your assessment of Trump. He has been the subject of extreme media propaganda. He won the hearts and minds of the American people for good reasons." So Dawkins was like, Elon Musk, you're like, Trump is terrible, but Elon Musk is good. And Elon was like, nope, you're wrong. I'm terrible too. So,
yeah, just let's put another docket on things Dawkins has done and said that are wrong. And just
which is worse, this or mild pedophilia?
Man!
You remember mild pedophilia?
The one where he was like, actually, that was a very normal thing in my school, and I think it wouldn't have been a good school without it.
I don't think he said that. I think it was more along the lines of like, you know, the thing that I experienced was not all that traumatic, so like, it's no big deal. Which, like, okay, good for you that you made it through that, but like your experience is not universally applicable to everybody else. So like, but like, it's still
that's where you just look at Dawkins in the eye and go, so I would like you to state for the record the Steelman version of your statement. And that is that rape isn't that bad, actually. That is the Steelman version of your statement. That is what you said. So if you are willing to say that statement once more, then we can have a conversation about that. Or you can backpedal.
I mean, I want to say in fairness, but not really, because I feel like he would respond to that by pointing out that like his use of the word mild, it would actually exclude rape from being included in his assessment.
Did he consent to it?
I'm not fighting with you on this, Cyrus.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying, like, this is a super easy platform to work with.
It is.
This is the easiest thing in the world.
It's not hard to be like, hey, don't touch kids inappropriately.
Yeah,
like, no,
that's
super
bad. Easy. Just like,
I do
could
in
you
fact
consent?
I do in fact condemn mild pedophilia.
Like this feels like the easy one.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do pushback on you like, no, Rhino, you're wrong. My fedora, it's on tight. Like, no, I'm not trying to do that.
Oh, you know what? In my hat bucket, I don't have a fedora.
How do you not have a fedora, you raging atheist?
Oh, God. You remember him? Apparently he's gotten better in recent years, but, like, I just can't deal with his voice.
Look, I was friends with him, and then I don't remember what happened that caused a falling out. I legitimately do not remember. There were a lot of people in that era of my time on YouTube that I became
was it just that he was a shitty person and you became not a shitty person?
I don't know. I like legitimately no memes required here. I do not remember the details of what happened.
So yeah, he and Trump are on the none of that praise is warranted because Musk is not diametrically opposed to Trump in any meaningful way. He and Trump are on the same page, and they're both willing to destroy everyone who they think is an obstacle to acquiring more power. At which point he brought up the Elon Musk response, and Dawkins was trying to salvage Musk's reputation, only to have Musk come along and say, "Nope, I'm with Trump now." And like, yeah, this is just one of those things where like, Elon needs to learn when to shut the fuck up.
Dawkins also needs to learn when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they both need to learn that. I mean, it kind of worked out for him anyway, because, like, yeah, now he's going to be, like, in bed with the most powerful man in the world. Yeah, no, his not shutting the fuck up has worked for him. Never mind. The world needs to learn how to shut him the fuck up. Not gonna, like, that's not a call to violence.
That's a call for blocking him on Twitter. Oh, wait, that doesn't work anymore.
Does it not? I haven't blocked on Twitter.
No, he changed the settings on Twitter to where if you block somebody, you still have to see their shit.
And that actually took effect?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting, because I actually, when I pulled this tweet, I had to do it from my alt account because I couldn't find it with my main account because he's blocked.
Let me see here.
And, like, it still gave me the warning of, like, oh, you've got this person blocked. Are you sure you want to see these?
Let's see. I think Steiger says someone tried already. Tried what already? Anyway, I'm looking up real quick to see what the details of it are, because I just don't use Twitter all that often to begin with.
Yeah, no,
Not anymore, anyway.
I'm using it significantly less now. Basically, the only thing I do is log in to get screenshots now.
I'm seeing mostly the stuff from October saying that the change is about to happen.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one of those changes that would not fly in the EU. So if he doesn't want Twitter to get banned in the EU, he's going to have to not do that. Because that was one of those things where, like, he found out that he was the most blocked account on Twitter, and that's when he announced that it was, oh yeah, no, you're still going to be able to see the blocked people. They just won't be able to interact with you or whatever.
I've seen people on Reddit try to defend it, going, actually, it makes perfect sense. If somebody wants to stalk you, they'll just make an alt account anyway. I'm like,
no, it's not,
yes.
It's not that you can still see their stuff. It's that they can still see your stuff. That's what it was.
Okay. Still, the people who have tried defending it that way, I just want to go, yeah, no. And if somebody wants to kill you, then they're just going to try it anyway. So just hand them the gun. Why not? Let's follow that logic to its extreme. Let's do that. Let's have fun. Reductio ad absurdum is a great tool. We can have all kinds of fun with it. Oh, whoa.
You can't use the search function if you block an account still, but if you block someone, they can see you now. Oh, so that did take effect then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't care if Elon sees my stuff. I just got sick and tired of seeing his shit, so I actually blocked him. So yeah.
Fuck him.
So Dawkins has been fawning over Elon for over a decade, and some of that might have been understandable years ago. Musk fooled a lot of people into thinking he was the brains behind all of his operations rather than the guy primarily funding it all, but if you didn't know it before, it's damn near impossible to ignore now. I want to say it was around 2015, which I think is when he made the comments about nuking Mars as part of a terraforming project. That's when I started to stop seeing him as a brilliant businessman, and started seeing him as like, oh, so he's just a guy with a lot of money that throws out a bunch of ideas, and then his engineers and scientists do the work to make some of them happen. Like that's when I made the transition to describing him that way. And I probably had more respect for him back then than I do now. But like, he's been chipping away at that for years.
Yeah.
So.
Any goodwill that existed for him just kind of slowly depleted. Also, Nakibri, thank you for the resubscription. And Ivana as well. Sorry I missed yours before.
It melted like the ice caps on Mars would if we nuked them.
Man, what is it? What is nuking Mars to terraform it going to actually accomplish other than just make the land an arid wasteland?
Well, the idea was you nuke the poles, and then all the water that's there melts and evaporates and becomes a thick layer of water vapor around the planet, which then warms it.
Right,
however,
but it's nuclear fallout.
Well, yeah, but only at the poles. And, like, if you wait...
And then where does the water go?
I don't know. Well, it's the idea is that it is now terraformed and you've warmed the planet and it starts a water cycle and then you can plant plants or whatever. But regardless, Mars is actually, if I recall correctly, it's Mars is too small. Its gravity is too weak to actually hold on to an atmosphere. So all that would do is take all this water that is on Mars and move it to space. So now it is harder to access when you're there.
Like, technically, you could increase the gravity on Mars by adding mass to Mars, but like...
Oh, yeah, so let's just throw a bunch of asteroids at it.
Yeah,
good idea, sir. And throw the asteroids at the poles, and then it'll... Shit, my headphones just gave out, I think. No, they didn't. Yeah, so no, just throw the asteroids at the poles, melts the stuff, adds gravity. Yeah, perfect.
You know what? I mean, Hillary Clinton was right. We should Pokemon go to the poles.
As Dawkins, who fashions himself a rational thinker, able to spot delusional thinking, remains one of Musk's biggest fans. And it's not just Dawkins here. His fellow science promoter, Lawrence Krauss, who notably, there were credible accusations of sexual harassment against Lawrence Krauss several years ago. So that's the kind of company that Dawkins keeps. Was giddy about Musk offering a one-word response to his latest article blasting DEI initiatives that offered federal funding to historically marginalized groups. So yeah, Krauss wrote an article where, as we say here, he asked...
As a white person, I think that it's better when the blacks don't have jobs around me.
Yeah, basically. No, he...
paraphrasing.
Yeah, so he wrote an article about how a lot of money goes to DEI instead of science for science stuff, like for the National Science Foundation. And I guess he emailed Musk something about it, and Musk responded with one, I think it was like brilliant or definitely or something like that.
One of his one-word responses, interesting.
Yeah. And so Krauss got all excited about that. But like, even in his article, like what they did was they Hammett kind of is a bit of a straw man. He says in his article that over 10% of the U.S. National Science Foundation's grants were for DEI initiatives rather than science. He calculated this, I shit you not, by asking ChatGPT to decide if each of the NSF's grants in 2023 were primarily scientific or DEI. That's a bit reductionist. It is what happened, but like the way I pictured this was he just went to like the ChatGPT website and typed in, "Hey, ChatGPT, how many of the NSF's grants for 2023 were scientific versus how many were DEI?" And then ChatGPT bullshitted an answer as it does. But no, they actually like downloaded the list of grants and what their purposes were and fed that into ChatGPT and then asked ChatGPT to summarize that. So like this was an actual like trained data set sort of, except he acknowledged right in the article that like if you word the prompt differently, you're going to get different results, and a lot of the results we looked at wouldn't necessarily fall cleanly into one category or the other. So basically he explained why his results were bullshit and then was like, yeah, but we're just still gonna go with them anyway. So like, yay, science.
Remember, just astoundingly profound scientific minds can also be raging idiots.
Well, also this is assuming that like you can't have an affirmative action grant that has a scientific purpose. Like, hey, I'm going to give money to gay researchers to research gay stuff.
Sometimes I pull on it so hard, I rip the skin.
That's researching.
You
gay
are
stuff.
researching gay stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, like that's what I mean though. Like you give money to a marginalized group of scientists who like they're going to approach it with different experiences and perspectives than heterosexual cis white guy scientists. Like the white male body is the most studied body in science. And the reason for that is because most of the people doing science have historically been white males. So,
When was it that we discovered that malaria actually can be combated by sickle cell anemia?
I don't know, but that's been in the textbooks for years. Rosina for $4.99 says Lawrence Krauss has a section relationship with Jeffrey Epstein on his Wikipedia page, so there's that. Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that, but I'm not terribly surprised. Yeah.
Yay.
But yeah, no, so like it's the fact that he's trying to categorize everything as either it is scientific or it is DEI is like those are not mutually exclusive categories. Like, hey, maybe they gave a grant to a bunch of researchers to research the impact of DEI policies. That would be DEI, would it not? And like that could potentially come back with results that support the bullshit that Krauss wants it to. Like, if DEI is actually a problem, research like that would come back with results that DEI is a problem. But Krauss's little thingy there would just categorize that as DEI. Therefore, it's not science. So, like, I don't know. It's just bullshit.
I love the world we live in now. It's so functional.
Yeah. So these so-called science advocates are bending over backward to celebrate someone whose biggest contribution to science may be facilitating the spread of misinformation. Yeah, that's a little bit of irony here, is that these people who, like, their careers have ostensibly been science communication, and now they're fawning over this guy who is the top spreader of misinformation possibly in the world right now. So, Musk is also a climate denier. You would think Krauss, who wrote a whole damn book about climate change, would spend more time being critical of that, but even after Musk pushed those lies in a conversation with Trump months ago, Krauss pushed back in the mildest of ways, saying of Musk, "I am hoping he was just trying to be polite." To which Hemant adds, he wasn't. Musk's brain really is that broken.
Yeah.
Also,
it's
in case you were wondering if Sam Harris is also a piece of shit, he is. Dawkins promoted a post by, Jerry Coyne as well is hopping on the anti-trans bandwagon. Like, that one actually made me a little sad because Jerry Coyne, I don't know, I had a lot of respect for him before. But,
Had being the operative word.
Yeah. But yeah, Dawkins promoted a post by Coyne promoting Sam Harris, who was falsely claiming that trans issues were to blame for the Democrats losing the election. This is a big theme that I've been seeing a lot, is that there are a lot of people on, not on the left, but like the more moderate Democrats that are being like, oh yeah, no, it's because of our support for trans issues that we lost this election, so we need to throw trans people under the bus so we can win elections again. Be like,
luckily that doesn't seem to have actually happened.
No.
Like, we're very lucky that there seems to be enough pushback against any Democrats trying to argue that the trans vote is what killed their ability to get the election. And I hope that that pushback keeps its energy for the next 4 years.
Yeah. Well, at least 2 years, because there's a House election in 2 years.
Oh, yeah, there's a House election in 2 years, but the House election, let's be perfectly honest.
Let's start working to flip the House now.
We got things to talk about off stream.
Yeah. Okay.
You know where I live. You know.
Yeah.
There is a plan right now.
On the plus side, if he puts her in his cabinet, then you'll have to elect someone else.
Yeah, it's not fucking happening.
Are you sure? He put like a guy who almost chopped his own dick off with an axe in charge of the Department of Defense.
Look, we can get the people from Fox and Friends there.
That's a slight exaggeration. He actually almost killed a guy playing the drums with the axe. There was like an axe throwing thing, and he missed so hard that it hit a guy that was like off on the side drumming.
Imagine just drumming and getting an axe just crammed in you.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah. But, yeah, the reality is that Republicans just use anti-trans bigotry to rally their base when, while Kamala Harris and the Democratic Senate candidates almost entirely avoided the issue or joined Republicans in trashing trans kid who wants to play in sports. Yeah, no, I was very disappointed every time trans issues came up, because the answer is very simple and very easy, is trans rights are human rights. So, like, just pretend that whatever the question was, it's about women or people of color or anyone else in the LGBTQ community. Just pretend it applies to them and answer accordingly, because trans rights are human rights. It's that simple. Why are you giving gender affirming surgeries to people in prison? Because gender affirming care is health care, and if we are going to imprison people, it is our job to give them basic access to health care, which, since that is health care, there, boom, problem solved. Yeah, treat them like human beings.
I feel like if I was God, I feel like a media team would hate me if I was trying to be president, because I think I would start most of those responses with, first, may I ask you a question? Are you a fucking idiot? No? Okay, cool. Now that we've established that you have a head on your shoulders with a working brain, we can move on to the next part, which is, are the people in prisons humans? Are they? I mean, you've established you're not an idiot, so I'm assuming you know the answer. Like, I'd be a very condescending asshole.
Well, that's the thing, is if you're on Fox News, the answer to that question is no, they're not human, because they're just straight up using fascist rhetoric now, calling people they disagree with vermin and scum, and actually, like people say we're going over the top when we say they're dehumanizing people, but they have actually said, no, they are not human in those exact words. So, like, no, that we're not going... Trump, like we say, Trump is directly quoting Hitler when he says stuff like they're poisoning the blood of our country. That is a direct Hitler quote. He is then told on live TV, hey, that is a direct Hitler quote. Why are you saying that? And then he will respond to that with, oh, well, I didn't know that was a Hitler quote, but it's true. They are poisoning the blood of our country. So, like, after he finds out, like, assuming he didn't actually know, assuming he was telling the truth when he says he didn't know, which he absolutely was not, he was lying, but, like, to then be like, yeah, no, they tell me I'm quoting Hitler, that I'm just like Hitler, but I'm not. I didn't know it was Hitler, but he was right. Hitler was right. Hitler was saying the right thing. Like, that's called fascism. That's called doing a fascism. You're a fascist.
Yeah. I got so many people angry at me when I made the Trump one video on both the Magic channel and the regular politics channel. And of course I made a different video for both, but I started my statement with, by the way, a fascist just won the election. And if you disagree with me that he's a fascist, you're wrong, and I can prove it. Here's a video where I did. Anyway, now that we're past that point, let's talk about the stuff that matters. And I got so many people angry with me going, I don't want to listen to you because you just sound arrogant. I'm like, I don't fucking care anymore, I don't think. I think I'm past the point of caring if I sound arrogant about something I know I'm right about. I think I'm past that point.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to entertain you with a debate. It's just like, nope, you're wrong. Fuck you.
Like, you're incorrect. I'm correct.
I'm sorry
I can prove it.
I'm sorry that you're not paying attention to reality, but that's just the reality of the situation. That's the, like, he is doing the things that the definition of the word would mean that he does, and he does those things. Therefore, the definition of that word applies to him. Therefore, that word applies to him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the video that I just scripted. I have like one offhanded remark about Trump being a fascist. So I am anticipating that I'm going to lose subscribers on this video and make some people angry because they don't like it when I get political on the main channel.
Yeah,
like, fuck you. I make like and I guarantee you right now, there are going to be comments on that video that are along the lines of like, oh, you're normally good when dealing with religious stuff. Unfortunately, you've fallen for the religion of the left. And so you've just traded one religion for another. I guarantee you I'm going to get those comments on this Friday's video.
And what is the inverse of the religion of the left, but the religion of the right?
Now. That's next Friday's video, not this one.
Like, centrism is a position as well. So what is the religion of the left, if not the religion of the centrist and the religion of the right?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he goes on, he says, incidentally, the Center for Inquiry, which merged with Dawkins Foundations, just published a lengthy article from CEO Robin Blummer condemning doctors who work with trans children, saying, I hope their malpractice insurance is paid up. Blummer writes, they are going to need it. She expressed those thoughts after accepting without question the deeply problematic claims made in the Cass review, which, yeah, there have been so many reviews of the Cass review that have been published in peer-reviewed journals. They're just like, no, this thing's a piece of shit. That does not actually adequately describe the research.
Why is Matt Gaetz Attorney General?
Did you just find out about that, like, now?
I just found out about it right now.
I wasn't going to talk about that. Yeah, no, you got a child sex trafficker as Attorney General. Like, the party of people that literally send people into pizza places armed with AR-15s because they're so worried about child sex trafficking is now putting a child sex trafficker in charge of the Department of Justice. Like, how the fuck does that even work? Like, even like from their own side, like, wouldn't you just want to completely avoid even the appearance of that? Yeah. How does it make sense?
It doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't have to.
Like, that's the thing. If the positions were flipped, if there was a Democrat in the White House and they were nominating people for positions or whatever, and it came to Attorney General or whatever, and like, even if it was someone that was highly qualified, with Gaetz, which Gaetz is not, if it was someone that was extremely highly qualified, but there were allegations of sex abuse or whatever in their past, even if they were like completely unproven, not even investigated, they'd just be like, nah, I'm going to go with the guy that doesn't even have the appearance of a skeleton in the closet. But no, they're just going to nominate a guy who has been under active investigation for child sex trafficking for the last 4 years. Like, no, fuck you. Piece of shit. Okay.
I love the world we live in. It's so functional.
Yeah, well, speaking of loving the world we live in, 40 monkeys escape South Carolina research facility. Police warn residents to secure doors and windows.
What?
They're just a bunch of loose monkeys running around South Carolina. Last I heard, they caught like 26 of them. So that means there's still like 15 monkeys jumping on the bed in South Carolina. So yeah, I just when I saw this right after we streamed, I shut down the stream and then saw that Stephen Colbert's monologue that had just been published had this story, and it was just like, oh fuck, we could have done that one. So this is stale news, but still fun.
Is that
So,
what you should rename the show to? Stale News?
stale news, but fun. Now, I think Twit Tweet still kind of encapsulates what this is about.
It has a wing to it.
Yeah. So authorities also, if I rename it, I have to like get someone to redesign the thumbnail, and I like the thumbnail, and I don't like changing things.
Change bad.
Some stale news
instead of some more news.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, I'm linking to his Trump video, and in the my video for not this coming Friday but next Friday, where I mentioned that like, oh, Trump is a fascist. I'm linking to his, I'm just like, instead of like having a bunch of articles in the thing, I'm like, no, I'm just going to link to this 2-hour long video about why Trump is a piece of shit, where a big section of it is he's a fascist. So yeah, that's fun. And yeah, I get it that like another YouTuber said it is not really a great source, but like he's got all the news articles describing the things that Trump did that are all things that were well documented that we all know that Trump did. So it's like, it's not like this is just some YouTuber yelling about how he's a fascist. It's like, no, these are actual things that you should be able to remember happening. Anyway, authorities in South Carolina have warned residents to lock their doors and windows after 40 monkeys escaped from a research facility on Wednesday night. This sounds like the prequel, what's it called? The thing that's the opposite of the, God damn it, I forget the other word too. You know that thing where you read a book and then there's that thing after the last chapter?
The epilogue?
Epilogue. Prologue. That's the word. This is like the prologue for a video game. That was a long time to find that word.
You know, the prologue implies that there's a casual log as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, the casual logs are the ones that end up burning in the fire.
Oh, fair enough.
But, yeah. And even, like, the name of the company is Alpha Genesis. Like, that sounds like something from a dystopian video game.
It kind of does.
It's like, we need you to infiltrate the Alpha Genesis research facility. Like, that sounds like a spy thriller video game. That's where I'm going as James Bond in the next...
James Bond.
I'm just thinking of the GoldenEye thing. I don't know.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
So the Alpha Genesis facility in Beaufort County, and traps have been set up and thermal imaging cameras are being used in an effort to locate the fugitive monkeys. Where are they describing those fugitives?
It just sounds... Is this just an ARG for Ape Escape? Like a new Ape Escape video game?
Sounds like something Capcom would come up with. It does. Oh, it's the prologue to Planet of the Apes. There we go.
You've experimented on us for far too long, human.
I remember the like 70s Planet of the Apes movies. I've seen 2 or 3 of the new ones. I can't fucking remember what happens. I just know that Andy Serkis has done them. I have no idea what the plot line is.
I haven't seen any Planet of the Apes movies ever.
The 70s ones are fun. It's like
They're
it's like a campy kind of fun.
It always seemed like they were not meant to be campy.
They take themselves very seriously.
Like, it's
and that's
kind of
part
like
of why they're fun.
Have you seen Omega Man?
No. I'm aware of Omega Man.
It's because Omega Man's in that same realm of like...
I'm pretty sure you have made me aware of Omega Man.
I think so too, because I like it more than I Am Legend, which is what I Am Legend is based off of in the first place.
Oh, yes.
But it's that, I guess it's the same thing as how Omega Man is built, because Omega Man ends up being very campy, but you can tell that for every character in the film, this is like pure life or death. This is very serious business from top to bottom for every character in the film.
Yeah. So the Yemassee Police Department said multiple officers were working with Alpha Genesis personnel to recapture the primates. Again, this sounds like a fucking video game.
It really does.
Police officers have teamed up with Alpha Genesis personnel to recapture the escaped primates.
This is a PlayStation 1 game. This has to be.
Yeah, and well, also like, those monkeys are fucked because the police department's just gonna shoot them.
Oh yeah.
Like, they shoot dogs, they ain't gonna spare monkeys. So Alpha Genesis has a federal contract where they oversee a colony of 3,500 rhesus monkeys on Morgan Island in South Carolina, which has been dubbed Monkey Island. So
now it really just sounds like a video game.
It does.
That is the name of a game.
Before this, Monkey Escape from Monkey Island is the game.
From LucasArts.
I was actually aware of this island before this news item broke. So like, as soon as they said it, I was like, oh, is that like where Monkey Island is? I'm like, yep, nope, that's it.
Jesus Christ.
Tisha says, this is the second biggest monkey story I've ever seen. It's the first one, King Kong. Monkeys have escaped from Alpha Genesis before. 8 years ago, 19 primates escaped from the company's facility, but were recaptured about 6 hours later. Last year in Pennsylvania, dozens of lab monkeys escaped after a truck carrying 100 of the animals crashed. All of the primates were later accounted for. That's a polite way of saying a bunch of them died.
They're accounted for with bullets.
We know where they are.
The ground.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a bunch of them probably died in the crash. Like, the other ones probably recaptured. Yeah. So yeah, that's our kind of silly story where there are monkeys on the loose in South Carolina.
So we're done monkeying about now?
Yeah. Yeah, we're done monkeying around with the news. So there's no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Because they all fell off and bumped their head. Mom was just done calling the doctor. Not Nick Fuentes getting doxxed? Did Nick Fuentes get doxxed? I heard something about that.
Yeah, somebody, I don't know if it's actually, I think it is his address, but somebody, after he did the whole your body, my choice thing, somebody just went, oh, okay, we're doing that then? Cool. And then just like showed his home address, showed pictures of his house and everything. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If you go on the internet and tell groups of women that it is your choice to rape them, because that's what that statement is. Mm-hmm. I don't care anymore. Get doxxed. Fuck you.
Yeah, so
it's past my purview of care.
So I hadn't really looked into it, but I'm on Blue Sky. Someone had posted like, on one hand, doxing is bad. On the other hand, Nick Fuentes is worse. And then there was like a debate after that as to whether or not doxing is the appropriate thing to do. Fennec says, check your email, OMG. Yeah, no, I didn't check my email for this one because I was... because I was pivoting what kind of articles I was going to cover. I'm like, no, I don't even want to know what the fuck is in the news. I will see your email next week.
Soccer in my chat just pointed out he committed battery against somebody who rang his doorbell.
He ran to his mama's house and they doxed her address too. But anyway, there's an argument over whether doxing was appropriate in this case, and then like this one person said, and he has the right to be a Nazi without his life being endangered, so you do have the right to voice opposition to his ideology peacefully without your life being endangered. To which he
didn't give an opinion. He said, I'm going to rape people.
Yeah, no, so my response to that one was counterpoint. People should be scared to be open Nazis, actually. Like, yeah, if you like, that is a value that I hold. You should be afraid to express Nazi ideology. That should be something that worries you, that people find out that that's a thought that you have.
Like, society is more functional when people are not inclined to be racists. When people are not inclined to say openly on the internet, I'm going to rape women. But there were so many fucking people on the internet the day that Trump got elected that all did the whole your body, my choice shit, which is just a call to rape. I'm sorry. There is no steel manning that past it being a call for rape.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Reploid 404 says, sorry I was gone. Depression hit post-election. Also, didn't Nick's house get burned down?
I don't think it got burned down.
I don't think it got burned down, but if it did, I don't feel sympathy.
No, I don't either. I can't.
That said, it would actually be helpful to me if my house burned down right about now, as long as nobody's in it. Get it when the dog's out walking. Because then I get an insurance payout and I can just buy the house that we're trying to move into. Don't have to wait for someone to buy this place first. That's not how it works. And now that I've said it publicly, if it actually does burn down, I'm fucked.
Didn't you try selling your house to a lot of people? Specifically saying afterwards, trust me, the neighbors are great. They won't cause you any problems.
No, we're not actually allowed to talk to the people that come to look at the house. We have to be gone when they come.
That's weird.
No, it's not actually, because like thinking from the perspective of someone buying a house, I do not want the person selling it to be in the house while I'm looking around, because I'm like, I'm looking for all the problems with the house. You're going to be actively trying to like direct me away from them or whatever. So like,
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Drew's pointing out Fuentes is not openly gay, but he was caught accidentally live streaming while watching gay porn. He claims he was hacked and it wasn't him. LOL. Yeah, that wasn't the first time either. It's happened multiple times. There's been trans porn as well.
Went on a date with a cat boy. He's not gay, but definitely doesn't have a girlfriend though. But he probably kisses the homies goodnight.
Well, he's also, isn't he the one that like originally came up with that whole like it's actually gay to have sex with a woman?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that was him, where like he described how or no, I think it was like having sex with a woman who has had sex before is gay or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was him.
And when I'm in my 40s, maybe I'll find a nice 18-year-old virgin wife. Sorry, I'm just quoting Nick. If we're just quoting Nick Fuentes.
Kitsune Cavalier says he did. So yeah, I'm going to take your word for it, because I seem to recall that. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the tweets. Starting off strong with Ben Zeisloft, who says the state must legislate Christian morality.
No, Ben. No, it must not.
That's how you get Afghanistan.
So Gander says it
Iraq.
wasn't 18, it was 16. Fair enough.
But
remember, people like Steven Anderson are completely and totally for the idea of a theocracy, so long as they get to kill the gays. That's the thing he cares about.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but like, I don't know. We joke about like play a game where everybody turns to a random page in the Bible, reads a verse, does exactly what that verse says, and the last person to go to jail wins.
Jesus Christ.
Both Fuentes and Andrew Tate have said it's gay to have sex / relationships with women. Andrew Tate has also said that it would be more gay to have sex with an ugly woman than a hot trans woman.
He did say that. That one was
just scooch the dick.
Yeah, just scooch it. Just scooch it.
I have seen that clip.
That is one of the best clips on the internet.
I was just grossed out by the fact that it was Andrew Tate.
I want to agree with you 110% because he's a piece of shit.
It's the same reason, like, I find this very funny.
You've been a bad little girl and you're getting a vigorous spanking now.
But because of who's saying it, everybody's like, yeah, no, that would be funny if it was not that guy saying it. But yeah.
Vigorous spankings.
I don't think that gay is a transitional property. Do you mean transitive property? I don't know. I say, you know what? Society just needs to do away with labels like that. Just have sex with the people you want to have sex with and don't worry about the label.
It would be easier.
Is it gay to do X? I don't know. Do you want to do X? Then what does it matter? Just do it. Don't worry about it.
I want to agree with you, but on the other hand, human beings and shorthand communication go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Like, we like shortcutting things. And so if we can shortcut, yes, I happen to like people who are masculine and usually have penises, to just, I'm gay.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
what people are going to do.
I could saw a t-shirt the other day that says homophobia is fucking gay. Sure. Alex Markle says the pansexual. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I don't see the point in there. Like I will have sex with the people that I want to have sex with. I don't like, what does the label matter? Just have the sexy time. It feels good when people touch dick. So just let the people touch the dick. Yeah, assuming consent and all that. Yeah.
Hey, when I started my channel, I could not honestly answer you if I would suck girl dick. I can now honestly answer you that I have sucked girl dick and will do it again.
We know Rhino would have sex with a clone of himself. Yep, that has been adjudicated very thoroughly on this channel. I mean, one would say not thoroughly enough until I get a clone of myself here, am I right?
It's not thoroughly enough until I finish.
Oh, you don't know that I didn't finish. Bottom half of me is not visible. Anyway, moving on. Benny Schetz. Okay, so this was...
Again?
Well, I actually interact with Ben. So, like, it's funny because I can actually, like, tell the stories of the interactions or whatever. So, Godless Engineer had posted a picture of the United States that had, like, the Democratic places were labeled as Democratic and the Republican places were labeled as Dumbfuckistan. Which I thought was kind of funny, a little bit reductionist, but yeah, still funny. And Ben was like, "Oh, do you think it's productive to be like insulting half the country?" And I forget what I said to him, but it was just basically like, "Yeah, no, you guys, you like," it was something along the lines of like, "I remember when Bill Clinton was in office and all the Christians, I was one of them at the time, including me, were freaking out because like, oh, he did a blowjob thing in the White House and like personal failings are going to work their way into how he runs the country. If he is not a man of integrity in his personal life, we can't expect him to be a man of integrity in his political life. Therefore, he is not suited to run the country." That was the argument. I remember that argument because I was making that argument because that was my viewpoint at the time. So I pointed out that like, you guys literally just elected a fascist, womanizing, sexual assaulting rapist as the leader, to be the most powerful person in the world. And like, I was just kind of calling out the hypocrisy there. Like, I remember when a blowjob was too much, whereas this guy has cheated on every single wife that he's had. He's raped a bunch of people. There are a bunch more sexual, like, it's a matter of court record that he raped at least one person, and there's a bunch more sexual assault allegations out there. He was buddies with Epstein. He like flew on Epstein's jet even after Epstein was dead. So like, and this was Ben's response to me pointing that out, and he's like, "This is a really unintelligent response." So first off, I'd like to just enjoy the irony of him complaining that John called people unintelligent, because that's not nice, that's not polite. And so his response is, that's an unintelligent response when I point out his hypocrisy. And he says, "The alternative to Trump was a woman whose only accomplishment was sleeping her way to the top." Even if that's true, okay, first off, that is not true. But even if it were, would sleeping your way to the top not be way better than a felonious convicted rapist, convicted felon who is an open fascist? Like, even just looking at the sex stuff, yeah, sure, Trump didn't sleep his way to the top, but he's cheated on every single one of his wives. He's raped people. He's on record saying he wants to fuck his daughter. He's like, he is on record having said to Jeffrey Epstein, or no, about Jeffrey Epstein, that like, oh, he likes women really, really young, just like me. Like, just those are two completely different things there. Like, even if her only accomplishment was sleeping her way to the top, that still puts her ahead of Trump by miles. But it's also not true. She's a very accomplished woman. I don't even know where that accusation came from. I think it's just the fact that she is a woman in a position of power. Therefore, that must be how she got there. And then he says, "We were left with no moral option in terms of sexual ethics." Yeah, but one was a lot worse than the other one, and that's the one you chose. Yeah. As far as the felonies, they were escalated to misdemeanor. Okay, how how do you escalate a felony to a misdemeanor? That's not how it works.
No. Don't you understand? He's trying to give you an intelligent response.
But that's
why don't
but
you
those
like
words?
his
But those words
intelligent
don't.
response?
I know what all those words mean, but in that order, they don't mean anything. But I think what he's trying to say is that they escalated them to the point where they were crimes so they could be illegally tried. Motherfucker, he was keeping national secrets in an unlocked bathroom at his country club where enemies of the state have been documented just being there regularly. And then suddenly a bunch of American spies whose information would have been contained in some of those documents started dying. So, like, if that's not a crime, it should be. So I don't think a person is a felon if they are prosecuted illegally. It's like, well, I don't give a fuck what you think. He's a felon by the definition of the word. He was convicted of felonies, therefore he is a felon.
Therefore he's a felon.
Like, that's just the way the word works. And most of America feels the same way. I doubt that. Like, yeah, like, he won, and he did win the popular vote this time somehow, for fuck's sake. But still, like, what was the number? Like, he got like 71 million votes this time around, something around there, like 70 million.
Yeah.
That's not most of America. Like, America's got, what's the population? Like 370 million, something like that right now?
I thought it was 330 million, but I
330?
might be wrong.
U.S. population. 337 million.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was closer to 330. But there is a 7 in there.
Yeah, so that's like 20% of the country. So 20% of the country voted for him. It's a distressingly high number. And yeah, what the fuck are all those people that are staying home doing? Like, that's a lot of people that could have gone out to say, no, we don't want the fascist, who were just like, I don't care. And that is concerning. But they didn't, that doesn't mean they feel the same way. And I would posit that most of those people, if you ask them, is Trump a felon, would probably answer with a yes, because he was convicted of a felony. That's my assumption. I still have a base level of hope for humanity. It's buried deep right now, but it's still there. And then he says, but calling us dumb fucks because we disagree is immature and immoral. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, but like, you opened with, this is a really unintelligent response. Like, yeah, sure, that's not as impolite as calling someone a dumb fuck, but like, it's the same thing. Like, you didn't use a swear. Do you want a medal? You did the same thing that you're complaining that John did. You just did it without a swear. Good job.
It's so rude that you used the fuck word.
Okay, so would you rather I label... Okay, let's redo the map and make it unintelligentistan. Does that make it better?
The spirit of the argument is still there.
Yeah, just as it is right here, where he says it's a really unintelligent response. The spirit is the same.
Yep.
So, pot, meet, kettle.
Hello, Pot. My name's Kettle. I'm black.
Pastor Mark Driscoll says, wait, only two genders and men and women are different? Feels binary or biblical. And this was with response to the guy that was chosen to run the Department of Defense Secretary, whatever, the Fox News anchor that he picked to run the military, for fuck's sake. He apparently went on CNN last week and was like, women shouldn't be in combat roles.
But why? What is the significant difference between us when you have a gun?
It's harder to aim with boobs.
High School of the Dead taught me that's not true.
I wouldn't know. I've never shot a gun. Not a real one.
I own a few. But no,
you live in Georgia. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. There's an anime called High School of the Dead where one of the women on the main character's team, who is a sniper in the zombie apocalypse, apparently learns how to fire her bullets in such a way that another woman can twist her boobs around the bullets in midair. So that the
Okay.
bullets can decapitate zombies.
Why the fuck not?
It is such a God, I hate saying it's a good show or that it's a bad show. It's neither. It's a what the fuck show.
It's Schrodinger's show. It's
It's
neither good nor bad until it's observed.
It's a show that needs to be watched at some point if you haven't. It's very weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is one of the things I found while I was hunting for Elon Musk's response for earlier. So Adam Schiff says, first the Supreme Court granted president immunity for weaponizing the Justice Department. Now Donald Trump wants to appoint Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Confirming him would mean affirming the worst potential abuse of the Department of Justice. He must be rejected by the Senate, obviously. And obviously he won't be. So this meme account posts a screenshot from Starship Troopers, with the Neil Patrick Harris touching the brain bug saying it's afraid, to which Elon Musk replies with a laughy face emoji and 100%. I'm just like, I want people to like take a basic media interpretation course and then watch Starship Troopers, because like, yeah, it's very easy to watch it and just see a stupid person versus alien shoot 'em up movie and not really read much into it. But like, if you put any amount of thought into it whatsoever, it is very clearly a commentary on the fascist use of propaganda. Like how fascism uses propaganda to make things, because like,
what are you talking about? It just means service guarantees citizenship. That's all.
Well, yeah, but like, look at how they portray the war versus what we actually see of the war in the movies. The humans are clearly losing this war.
We are very heavily propagandized, but don't worry,
they're
doing my part.
They're clearly losing, but all the propaganda says that they're winning. And then like this whole thing, it culminates in this moment where they don't actually defeat the enemy, because defeating the enemy wouldn't work for fascism, because you need there to always be an enemy to focus on. So they don't actually defeat the enemy. They just scare the enemy, and that is the moment of triumph. That is the moment of propaganda that they use. That's the culmination of the movie, is we have scared our enemy. They are afraid of us, and that is good. But then, like, you follow the movie, like, you follow in past that part of the movie, and now it's, you see the battles are still happening. They don't have any tactical advantage from having captured the brain bug. They're not winning the war now. Everything still sucks. They're still in a fascist state, but it's afraid. So like,
it has experienced fear, therefore.
Yeah. So like, it's a very clear commentary on how fascist regimes use propaganda. And then the fucking fascist regime pops in to be like, that's funny, 100%. Because he doesn't understand how to interpret media.
Or he knows and doesn't care.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't give him that much credit. I don't think he's smart enough for that.
It's not that I think you're wrong. In fact, I'm pretty certain you're correct.
Yeah, and it's like, they couldn't have made it more clear. Like, look at the fucking uniform, man. Like, that's a Nazi. That is a Nazi uniform. Like, they use slightly different, what's it called? The insignia.
Colors?
Slightly different insignia, but like, it's a straight up Nazi uniform. Like, it's not subtle. It is not a subtle movie.
Paige just said, I'm dying internally now because I just learned that Matt Gaetz got nominated to lead the Department of Justice. Yeah, no, it's the fucking thing that everybody said was going to happen in Project 2025.
Well, no, we were worried about Eileen Cannon leading the Department of Justice. I think Matt Gaetz is actually worse than that.
Well, no, not the specific person, just the Donald Trump flunky being put in the position.
Yeah, that seems to be the qualifications he's looking for, is how much did you suck my dick? And was it Nikki Haley that he turned down?
I think so.
Yeah, because Nikki Haley, although she did really, really try to suck his dick, and not in the slept her way to the top way that they all say about Kamala. I mean that in the same way I mean it with Matt Gaetz, is that like just sucking up to him. But there was a time not all that long ago where she was running against him, where she was actually like saying true things about him. but she was like, she was trying to play both sides because she knew she wasn't going to win the nomination, but like, and she wanted to like kind of keep the door open, but she had to like actually make it look like she was trying. And yeah, it's it didn't work out for her because she wasn't as unquestionably loyal as everybody else needs to be in order to get their appointments.
Is it, just out of curiosity, how much do you think being a woman negatively contributes to your ability to get elected as president of the United States right now?
Quite a bit.
Because
I think that was a big part of it, because like a lot of people have been hearing the DEI language, and so they saw Harris as the DEI pick because she's a woman of color. Like, and when I posted that meme, the Anakin Skywalker meme, where it was like, you have a choice between a fascist and a woman of color, and the rest of the world's like, you chose the woman of color, right?
right?
Right? You chose the woman of color. When I posted that on Twitter, I got a bunch of responses from people being like, "Oh, you shouldn't choose someone to lead the country just because she's a woman of color."
Nobody
like,
said it was just because of that.
Even if it was, though, if your other choice is fascism, you choose the woman of color, even if that is the only reason you're choosing the woman of color, because that's not fascism. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people are just like, they saw her as, she's like, they only want us to vote for her because she's a woman, nothing else, even though that is absolutely not the case. Okay, my chat on my end is frozen, so where is that? Refresh. The right have no media literacy, also press like everyone. Oh, I read that as press as in like Associated Press or something, like the media or whatever. It's like, no, nope, you're telling people to press the like button. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, next tweet. JK Rowling. This is just like, mwah, chef's kiss. Says, I've said it before, but nobody ever realizes their umbrage, and yet she's the most common type of villain in the world. Would someone like to give JK a mirror?
She kind of looks like Umbridge these days, not gonna lie. Just
yeah. Like,
I recognize that's just a low blow, but I don't feel like it's untrue.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen recent pictures of her because I mostly ignore her. Like, I saw someone else post the screenshot and was like, I don't follow JK. I don't have, because most of the time I'm just like, no, it's just bullshit. I don't need to see her bullshit. And for Twit tweets, it's usually too depressing or whatever, but like, this was just funny. I couldn't not pull this. I'm like, you know, it's you, right? Like, this is how the trans community sees you. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been hearing people equate her with Umbridge for years now. So to have her just come out and say something like this is just like, oh my God.
This is a rare moment of introspection.
No,
nope,
it's not
mind,
introspection.
It's not. That's why I had the quick correction after it was like, wait, nope, never mind. It's not. Nothing to see here.
She's got beef with David Tennant recently because he got an award for being a trans ally. I think we covered that. Because he got the award and he basically said, fuck you to, it wasn't her. It was like someone in the British government who was being super anti-trans. And so JK Rowling like said her piece about Tennant. And yeah, he just wasn't having it because he's a good human being.
What if we just don't care what her piece is? What if we just stop caring?
But what if your partner has herpes? You need to stop the spread. I'm sorry. I know you said her. I know you said her piece, but I heard herpes.
Sometimes we hear what we want to hear.
Yeah, and when I think of J.K. Rowling, genital warts come to mind.
The only people who love JK are bug chasers.
Yeah. Brian D. Meeks says, oh yeah, so this was...
I'm going to have to explain what a bug chaser is to somebody in my chat. I fucking know it.
Yeah, I don't know what a bug chaser is.
It's somebody who purposefully sleeps with people so as to accumulate STDs.
People like that exist?
It's a weird fetish, but it is a fetish that exists.
I don't know what to do with this information. So anyway, this tweet of Rowling's was in a thread that started with her talking about how she is on the left.
Queen Voldemort. Sorry.
Sure. So she claims that she's on the left. And so this person said, the left hates you. Why do you still identify with that side? It's interesting to me when folks do this, but it's especially interesting when the greatest writer of the last 50 years does. What?
How the fuck is she the greatest writer in the last 50 years? Just because it's the only book you read when you were a kid.
Like, I'm currently, like, I know I've been reading this book for ages, but I'm a slow reader because I get distracted and I put the book down for a while and then I pick it back up in like a couple months. So like I'm still plugging away at it, but like I'm reading Catherine Valente's The Orphan's Tales. I'm on the second book now, The City of Coin and Spice. Fantastic books. Her prose is just beautiful. Like every sentence of the book is a joy to read. I have never read an author that has this way with words, and it's amazing, and I love it. And she's still alive. She's still writing books. Like I think these books were published in like 2005, something like that. So like I'd put Catherine Valente way the fuck above JK Rowling. And like yeah, Scott D is saying Terry Pratchett. Yep, Terry Pratchett. Also way above J.K. Rowling.
Jim Butcher is way above J.K. Rowling as well.
Can't say I've read any of Jim Butcher.
In specifics, he's the guy who did Dresden Files.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
like...
what was Vonnegut writing? Sorry, Dresden makes me think of Vonnegut.
Also, fucking Anne McCaffrey. Dragon Riders of Pern is a way better and more expansive series than Harry Potter.
Kurt Vonnegut was writing all the way up till 2007. So, yeah, he's a way better author. I don't think... J.K. Rowling could barely keep track of the time travel story that she put in one of her books, to a point where to make sure it never came back, she had Neville literally accidentally knock all of them off the shelf. Like, oh, why? What are you going to do with this time travel mechanic you've introduced? Oh, it fell off the shelf and broke.
And all of the dragon riders in Pern can time travel. All several thousand of them.
My point is, comparing how J.K. Rowling deals with time travel to, like, Slaughterhouse-5. And, like, there's no way she would have been able to write anything close to that. So,
wait
like,
a minute.
Yeah.
I have a time travel one I could throw at her. Sonic the Hedgehog on the fucking Xbox 360 did time travel better than J.K. Rowling.
People are bringing up Chuck Tingle. So much. Chuck Tingle is probably a better author than J.K. Rowling. George R.R. Martin, yeah, I'd agree with that. Love him or hate him,
so much
he's
so
better than.
So much so that the villain from that game is finally back.
I'm not even saying, like, you can think, like, okay, when I first read the Harry Potter books, I enjoyed them. I still reread them. I still enjoy them. Yeah, I wouldn't classify them as like high art literature type stuff, but they're fun little stories. There's a lot of stuff that like didn't make sense. Like the whole wands choose the wands choose the wizards was introduced originally, but like it was kind of dropped and forgotten about until at the very end. Suddenly, like there's this whole mechanic about if you disarm a wizard, you now own their wand according to their wand sort of thing. And like that just came out of fucking nowhere and made no sense whatsoever. And then like
that meant that every single time they were learning how to duel for their wizard duels in book 2, every single time they used Expelliarmus, they were reclaiming the fucking wands.
Did J.K. Rowling write as Robert Galbraith intending to not be seen as J.K. Rowling? Like, yes. Was she intending that to actually be like...
As far as I know, yes.
I just assumed there was something weird going on. Or like, I didn't know that she was actually trying to do that as a secret. Okay. Isaac Asimov, was he active in the last 50 years? Yeah, probably. But
I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Yeah, no, so many better writers.
Like, there's so many.
Yeah.
Fucking Christy Golden. I like
whoever fucking wrote all the dialogue for Oregon Trail. All right. That's enough dunking on Rowling. Although,
is it ever enough dunking on Rowling?
No, it's not. I could dunk on Rowling all night.
Like,
I can't come unless I'm dunking on Rowling.
look, I will say this. I made the joke about the story in Sonic 06 being better than Harry Potter, but like, I'm happy that the villain from 06 came back after 20 fucking years. I know you haven't played any Sonic games in the recent years at all, so...
Last one I played was the one on the Sega Genesis that had the Green Hills zone or whatever.
So Sonic 1?
Sure. Was that the first one?
That was the first one. Green Hill is 1, Emerald Hill is 2.
That was the last one that I played then.
You know, the events of Sonic 06 on the Xbox 360 were erased from the Sonic timeline, but then like a time anomaly happens in Shadow Generations, which just came out. And so the villain from that game comes back literally screaming, going, I just want to exist. I just want to exist. Because he technically doesn't exist anymore. He's been erased. Okay. Not even dead. Erased.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There were some things from the, like... So the movies tried to fix a bunch of things from the Harry Potter books. But there were a couple times where, like, they forgot to set things up for future things. So I saw the movies before I read the books for most of them. I was so fucking confused about the piece of glass that Harry suddenly kept in his sock that just had no origin whatsoever in the movies and was not explained. It was just like, what the fuck? Why does he keep pulling a shard of glass out of his sock and keep looking at it? And not, like, there was nothing really clearly seen in it ever.
Oh, in book 7?
Yeah. Like the one...
Where, like, in the book, you could tell
Dumbledore's brother or whatever?
Yeah, in the book, that was Aberforth.
Yeah. No,
but
it was that in the movie, too. But, like, the book actually kind of set it up. Like...
Yeah, the book explained that he was constantly looking at it because he thought that it was, like, Dumbledore stuck in another dimension or some shit.
Yeah, but, like...
And then he found out it was Aberforth.
Yeah, but, Rosina says, for Cirrus, follow me, set me free, trust me, and we will escape from the city. Is that supposed to rhyme?
That is, yeah. You're rolling around at the speed of sound. You got places to go. You got to follow your rainbow. I get it.
It's from the broken mirror that Sirius gave him. Yeah, but Sirius never gave him anything in the movie. They skipped that. They cut that for time, and then they kept all the camping montages. And so I was just confused when it showed up. And I had no idea. Like, I actually had to go and rewatch the previous movie because I'm like, where did that come from? Why is that such an important plot point now? And, like, yeah, no, it was... There were aspects of that series that could have been translated better.
Yeah, it's kind of like my issues with the... did you ever read the Hunger Games books and then watch the movies?
Again, I think I saw the movies first and then did the books.
So I read the books first and then watched the movies, and I still think that movie 1 is one of the worst interpretations of a book ever. Movie 2 and like the next movies did a fantastic job, but movie 1 felt like instead of this one woman's internal monologue and crisis over having to kill one of the few people who ever showed her a kindness in an unjust world, that was the narrative from book 1. But the narrative from the movie was this woman's one-person war against the dreaded capital, which isn't the fucking plot of the film. That's the fake plot that Coin cooks up for her as a propagandist.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the real plot of the first fucking movie.
Yeah. Fennec says, why do you do things backwards? Book first, then movies always. I agree, Fennec. However, in the case of Harry Potter, I think that was just laziness more than anything. Like, I had read the first couple books, and then I was just like, eh. Like, it goes to saying, like, whether she's a compelling author or not. I lost interest in the books, and movies are just easier, so I just, like, whatever, and eventually I came back into the audiobooks. For Hunger Games, I didn't even know it was a book series until the movies were done. There was like, oh, yeah, that was a book series, so then I went and read the books. But yeah, and then there are other times, like, I put off watching Game of Thrones for years because I'm like, I'm going to wait for George R.R. Martin to finish writing the books, then I'm going to read the books first, and then I'll watch Game of Thrones. And that never happened, so eventually I did watch Game of Thrones. And yeah, now it's like the world has moved on to a point where it's like, even if he does publish that last book, probably no one's going to buy it.
So there was a time where Jimmy Snow made a comment about how if Harry Potter is still your favorite book series, then you probably don't read any books. And at the time, it was still kind of my favorite book series. So I got kind of upset at Jimmy for that. And then over time, I was like, no, I think I get it, because as I've met more people whose favorite book series is Harry Potter, they all kind of strike me as people who've never read a goddamn book. No, I get it. I actually get it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. So this is fun. Truth Shiro posted this certificate of achievement awarded to the unvaccinated for surviving the greatest psychological fear campaign in human history, with the words pure blood. I'd just like to point out that they're now giving themselves anti-participation awards.
They're also using racist terminology for themselves.
Well, yeah.
Who the fuck calls themselves a pure blood but a racist?
That's a given at this point. But I just like the same people that complain about the vaccine are the same kind of people who would rail against participation trophies and participation awards. And yet they're now giving themselves awards for not having participated in something. Like, and literally, you achieved something. You sat on your ass instead of going to a pharmacy and getting a 5-second ouchie.
Can we instead rail participation trophy Chan?
What is
Somebody's probably made it.
Is that going to be like an anthropomorphized Rule 34 participation trophy?
I am just rolling the dice on the degenerate community I've cooked up over the years that somebody has thought of it at some point. And all that is left to do is to breathe life into this abomination.
It's going to be a Chuck Tingle book pounded in the butt by my participation trophy.
Oh my god, what is a participation trophy wife, though?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to know.
Is that a mail-in order bride?
I used to work with someone who was a mail order bride.
How was that experience for them?
Well, I mean, she was old, so I don't really know. But anyway, I just want to. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Okay. Oh, god damn it! Apparently, WhatsApp never loaded the image, so now I have to get it on my phone. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. All right, so this is an actual title of a Chuck Tingle book. Pounded in the butt by my handsome sentient library card who seems otherworldly, but in reality is just a natural part of the priceless resources of our library system provides. I'm
going to be honest, that just sounds like the light novel name for an isekai.
Yeah, so anyway, like, my father was a librarian, so, like, I sent a picture to him and be like, this be a good Christmas present for you? He responded with, sure, sounds like a hard read, though. Just in case you were wondering where I got my sense of humor from.
Your dad jokes came from an actual dad?
They did.
Oh, no! You've become too powerful!
His are so much worse than mine. You think mine are bad. Come to Christmas dinner.
He's had a few years of experience on you, though.
Oh, yeah.
Give it some time. You'll get there. Don't worry.
He also likes narrative jokes. So, like, he has this one that, like, he'll tell the story of how, like, Yo-Yo Ma and Boutros Ghali went to New York, and sat down in the restaurant and ordered mahi-mahi, and, like, he just tells, like, this whole story where every single aspect of the story is some real-world thing that is, like, just a double word like that. And it's just hilarious watching him start the story and then have all the kids groan and roll their eyes and be like, no, stop. It's great. Fennec says, I mean, your dad is now a granddad, so I feel like that makes the joke somehow more. Yeah, it does.
Oh, well.
And Rosina says there's a Chuck Tingle isekai book.
There better be.
Google it. I'm not doing that here.
You're not Googling isekai?
I'm not Googling Chuck Tingle isekai.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I think you've explained isekai to me before. I don't remember what it is, but I remember you explaining it to me.
Born again in another world.
Sure.
That's what it means. So one of my favorite jokes.
Explain it again.
One of my favorite jokes of all time is actually my favorite isekai novel is the Bible, or otherwise known as the Son of God, born again in another world, but as a carpenter. Because another trope of that series is that they always have those stupidly long, overly descriptive names.
That sounds like a YouTube clickbait thing. The Son of God was born in another world, but as a carpenter? Oh, my headphones crapped out. Okay, I'm switching
Jesus
headphones.
Christ.
There we go. I'm corded now, but I don't know why that keeps happening. Probably because this, I don't actually have Bluetooth audio built into anything. So, it's like a cheap little dongle thing.
People are pointing out that Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz are both isekais. Yeah, they technically are isekais.
Hats off. Yeah.
They fit the bill.
I will figure out how hats work. Oh, Dark Falcon says, Humu... Okay, stop chatting. I need to be able to read this. It needs to stop moving while I'm trying to read it. Humu nukunu kua pua pua. Humu nukunu kua pua is Hawaii state fish. I feel like my pronunciation is not terrible on that. It's not good, but I feel like it's not terrible.
Could be worse isms.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Frank Turek says, why is natural marriage between one man and one woman good for society? First off, marriage is not natural. There's only one species on the planet that does marriage, and it's the one
Penguins.
species that the things that they do are definitionally not natural. So, yeah, ain't nothing natural about marriage. No, penguins don't marry.
Then what's the rock for?
Penguins just fuck anything that has a hole.
That's not that different than humans. You know that the one question we would have when we find aliens
necrophilia is a
how
lot
do we
more
fuck
common
them?
among penguins than it is among humans.
Are you sure about that? Or are you sure they just don't talk about it?
I want to believe that.
If you
I'm choosing
need to
to
believe
believe
it, if you need to believe that,
yeah, I believe that. I am believing that. Yeah, I was also going to... oh, yeah, so, like, natural marriage... like, he has to specify between one man and one woman, because he knows that, like, if you just say natural marriage, it'd be like, yeah, no, whatever. Like, it can be two men. Yeah, and, like, realistically, like, didn't mean to do that. Ah! Oh, no. Apparently I did that in a way that can't be undone. Oh, no, that's just a zoom in. Ah! What am I doing? I'm good at my job. I will stop clicking randomly.
I believe you. Don't worry. I believe me too.
I believe in God the Father.
And the Holy Son.
Yeah. Do we know the same songs that are based on the same Apostles' Creeds found in the Bible? Yeah, no, but like, marriage as laid out in the Bible is not one man, one woman. It's one man and however many women he can afford to keep in his house.
I think in the Quran, it's like no more than 4 specifically. I don't remember though. It's been a while since I read it.
Oh, that sounds about right.
There's a bunch of like there's a bunch of weirdly specific laws in the Quran about marriage and like about how you're allowed to pass down your wealth and shit. And I just don't remember. I can't remember all of them. It's too much.
So the thing is, there are only 2 Bible verses that actually specify anything about number of women you're allowed to marry. And in both instances, it is specific to church leaders. So like deacons and elders are to only have one wife. Now, it can be inferred from that if this is the best way for a deacon and a church and an elder to live, then it's probably best for everybody as well, but it is not explicitly stated.
What's
So
good for the deacon is good for the elder.
yeah, sure.
I mean, look, if we're gonna do the what's good, I just wanted to do a what's good for the goose is good for the gander joke.
I know. But what's funny is like I'm getting my videos are getting all confused now. It was easier to keep things clear when I was doing my own editing because like I'd have to watch my own fucking video like 5 times so I know that that's that video. Whereas now it's like I just finished recording a video and now I'm scripting the next one, and so they kind of blend. But there's a video coming up, or last week's video, I don't remember which one it is, where he tries to he's talking about how like the way marriage is supposed to be according to the Bible is the one man, one woman, but God allowed for polygamy in the past because in that culture it was like basically the justification was that in ancient Israel a single woman or a widow was in a very bad situation socially. She'd be like a social pariah essentially. And so so it was actually the proper thing to, like the kind thing was to bring as many women into your household as you could so that they wouldn't be like ostracized from society for not having a man take care of them. My response to that is basically like, okay, but now if it was, because like human population distribution is naturally about 50-50 men to women. So if you do multiple women for one man, what you are now setting up is a system where if one man gets kicked in the head by his donkey one day and dies, there are now potentially dozens of women who are now outcasts of society because they no longer have a man taking care of them. Whereas if it was one man and one woman, the worst that could happen is like the man and however many daughters he might have with his one wife, which is significantly less than if it's King Solomon with his 300 wives and 700 concubines or whatever it is.
That just means if we kill the one man, it's more for me, or some weird shit.
Rosina says marriage is solely about transferring property rights. Yeah, that sounds like the take from someone who would say monogamy is slavery. Is that you, Rosina? Not judging you if you do. But yeah, no, especially in ancient Israel, is in the case of property rights there, it was literally the right to the woman. It was like the man was selling his daughter to her husband. And that's the whole point of the dowry and everything. And even in modern culture, marriage, a lot of like what marriage actually functionally does is give you property rights. So like if you are married, your spouse has rights to your property when you die and your estate when you die and stuff like that. So like, yeah, it means different things now than it did back then, but it kind of still is just about property rights. I mean, there is more to it than that, and there's more than just property rights. There's also like hospital visitation and shit, but
everybody in my chat is currently talking about making monsters their wives and fucking monsters like death claws.
That sounds like your audience, yeah.
I give up. I made this monster.
I feel like you've made your bed, now it's time to sleep in it.
According to my audience, I've made my bed and it's time to sleep with it.
I mean, JD Vance would. He sleeps on the couch.
No, that's not what intersectionality means.
Oh, God. Okay, so Wendell retweeted, Seth Andrews posted this, God saying, 1, make universe, 2, give Steve a tumor, 3, and Wendell retweeted this saying, tumors are the result of the fallen world. But
Stop talking about fucking death claws, you weirdos. They would rip you in half. Oh, God damn it, most of you are into that.
Is that directed at your audience?
Yes.
Okay. But God is making all of creation new, and soon there will be no more sickness or death for those in Christ. Okay, now, fallen world is just a cop-out for these people. Like, how does that make sense? How does Adam eating an apple translate into now tumors are a thing that happens? And yes, I know it's not literally an apple. You know what I mean.
Well, Growlithe just knocked over one of my lights.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Growlithe knocked over one of my studio lights.
Okay, but as long as we're
no
distracted,
weird metaphors this time.
As long as we're distracted, though, I am just going to point out. Okay, I don't. Showing this on stream might be a little bit.
Might be much.
Well, it's questionable. People stream this game though, so it's not. Okay, I might have to find a video for this.
While you do that, I'm going to let Growlithe out because she's obviously... She thinks it's time, even though it's 45 minutes past time. Come on.
Okay. What monster girls would attract Rhino? What monster girls do you think I'd be attracted to, honey? Are you a monster girl? Oh, she can be a monster girl. Mom in the streets, monster in the sheets. Fallen world absolves God of all responsibility. Yeah. Like these it's a cop out. It's a complete cop out. Like they'll say like it's either free will or it's a fallen world. And yeah, they do often retreat back to, oh yeah, and also he will use the bad thing to make a greater good come about, which is objectively not the case according to the Bible, because Jesus says more people can go to hell than heaven. Therefore, the end result of God's plan is that more, like, there will be a net greater amount of suffering than pleasure in the universe.
Come on, the faithful. Wait, what?
Okay. So you guys talking about monsters and fucking monsters and everything, it reminded me. So I am currently playing through 9 Souls. I'm at the end of the game. I haven't beat the last boss yet, but I have played through the whole thing. And there have been a number of boss fights where the backgrounds have been questionable, shall we say? Like there's one where there's like, it's a party and there's like sexy dancing cat girls in the background as you're fighting. And then there's one level that is this. Like, I don't know what that is, but it looks like a vagina with ears, with cat ears.
I don't know what that is, but
it's a vagina with cat ears.
Do I want to put my dick in it? I don't know.
It opens up bigger as the fight goes on.
Okay, yeah, I want to put my dick in it.
Yeah, let's see. Where's its final form? It turns into a butterfly vagina. A butterfly crawls out of the vagina.
Never mind. Don't want to put my dick in it anymore. I think I'm good.
I knew there's going to be like one of two reactions there. Either the butterfly is going to be, I want to put it in more now, or nope, that's the end of the road. I do not need
a butterfly crawling up my urethra.
But I'm just like, as I'm playing it, I'm just like, okay, it's becoming more and more clear that whoever made this game is just really into cat girls.
Also, apparently, I don't have a choice, but Dr. Apple Pie decided that my...
Cute Dark Arts, or Stoff says, Rhino, tell Cirrus to get his redeems, please.
No, I don't want to fuck.
You don't want to fuck?
Jesus Christ. No, not really. Not now, not any of you.
Oh, I'm hurt.
No, you're Rhino. There's a difference. Oh, whoa. See, the automatic thing did it for me.
No, it didn't. Do it. Do it. Do it. I'm not saying another word until you do it.
You already said another word, though. You did just then. Oh, well.
There we go.
There.
Better. Like, I will sit here and kill this stream and just sit here in silence until all the viewers go away.
There were 2 back-to-back OWOs as well, so at least somebody's on the right side of history.
Rosina says, did you see how quickly they Rule 34'd the Catholics loose mascot? I had heard about that. Yes, I haven't seen the pictures. I'm not surprised. Yeah. Wendell also posts this meme, says, I ask a Christian to provide the evidence. The Christian supplies the evidence. I say that is not evidence. They ask me why that is not evidence. Like, oftentimes we can explain. Or wait. No. So we can explain why things aren't evidence.
Sylvie Snow also made me redeem another you fucking degenerate.
Yeah.
Make me do those words in Rhino's ears.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I like it when Cirrus is angry. But also, like, Wendell...
You like hate fucking, don't you?
I've never done it. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Wendell made this himself. And he doesn't understand the format of this meme. Because, like, the last two are supposed to say the same thing. And it's, like, that's what's supposed to be funny about this meme, is that, like, oh, I thought it was a good thing, but then, oh, no, whatever. But, like, if you change the paper between the last two, then that doesn't work with this meme format. So, like, an attempt...
Maybe he should get an actual fellow kid to hello fellow kids for him.
Yeah, an attempt was made. Not a very good one, but it was an attempt. Yeah, Lord of Uzkalak is pointing out, same thing, that's not how this meme works. Yeah, I love it when people misuse the memes. We must seize the memes of production. That's the last one. So we done.
We are done.
I closed that window and I got cat lady vagina in the face.
I think you're okay with that.
No, because I don't see...
Yeah, you don't see, because the cat lady vagina's in your face.
No, but
duh.
like just the way this is, like, it confuses me anatomically. Like, is this supposed to be a head?
It looks like something coming out of the back of the head, like a brain.
Yeah, but, like, it's got ears, but then there's legs coming down here, but then these legs kind of turn into arms, because like the dead cats are, like, hanging off of fingers. Like, those are very hand-shaped type things. You can't really see it on the zoomed-in thing, but so it's like, just anatomically, this is just a mess. But, like, that's kind of the point of this game, is that a lot of things get anatomically messed up. Like, it is surprisingly grotesque for a game with such cute art. Like, all of the art is, like, cutesy, but, like, it's gory at the same time. It's weird.
Sounds like my kind of game.
Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should give it a go. It's one of those things that it kind of gets me annoyed when, like, you know, like, there are roguelike games and Souls-like games, and like, they use other games. So this is one of those games where, like, if you die, you lose all your money, but you can get it back if you kill the last person that killed you.
It's a Shovel Knight, then.
Sure, but like, so when I first played it through, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a bank system, because sometimes in games like that, there's a bank system where if you put your money in the bank before you die, it doesn't matter that you died twice, you can go back to the bank and get your money out. So I'm like, okay, is there something like that in this game? And all of the fucking answers when other people were asking similar questions were just like assholes on Reddit being like, that's not how Souls-like games work. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't even know what a Souls-like game fucking is. I just want to know if there's a bank in this game. That doesn't answer my question. Is the answer no? Then just say fucking no. So, like, yeah, I just wish games could just be judged as what they are, not as, like, oh, this is a game like this other game that you've never played. It's like, I've never played any of the Souls games, so I don't know what a Souls-like game is.
I think the problem is that for a lot of video games, they were made in an environment where we did not have a previous descriptor to work on something for. So, like, if I make a movie, the genre of the movie is not too far off from the genre of a book. A horror movie, a horror book, suspense, thriller, like, all of these things, these genres, they work as categories for those mediums. But for video games, we tend to struggle a little bit. So, like, Mario's a platformer because he jumps on platforms. That's fair. Turok is a first-person shooter because you're in first person and you are shooting people. But Overwatch is a first-person shooter, but the focus isn't being in first person or shooting. It's the multiplayer aspect. So it's a multiplayer online battle arena. But what happens when you have a game? What happens when you have a game that's very esoteric in terms of what it is? We can't just describe it based on the couple things it does that we know it does, because those couple things are very specific to its genre. So then we get,
it's a death takes your money genre.
This is a Castlevania-like, which is like a Metroid, so it's a Metroidvania. Shantae is a Metroidvania. What is a Souls-like? Well, it's a game that's incredibly difficult, very rewarding, and takes your shit when you die.
That's the thing, though. Like, so when I'm picturing the type of game, like, I would describe Nine Souls as a platformer. Mostly. It's like you're running around on platforms. It's like 2D side-scrolling platformer type of thing. I know, like, I've never played any of the Souls games. I know what they look like. They do not look like this. They don't look anything like this. So when I hear Souls-like, I'm picturing, like, really dark, gritty, realistic 3D. You're running around.
No, Crab Game's a Souls-like, and it's, like, completely and totally fruit-colored.
Wait, which game?
I think it's called Crab Game, but the...
Okay, but my point is, the Souls games are that dark, gritty, three-dimensional wandering around like as a knight swinging a sword, whatever. So, like, the mechanics aren't even the same. I would not control this character anywhere near the same as I would control the character in a Souls game. So why is this a Souls-like game when the control scheme isn't even close to being the same?
How does the game play?
Like a platformer.
Well, yes, but like, Hollow Knight plays like a platformer, and it's not.
I mean, in Hollow Knight, if you die and then don't recover your shade or whatever, if you die twice in a row without recovering your stuff first, you lose all your money. But that they don't tell me that that's because it's a Souls-like. And people describe Hollow Knight as very difficult.
I'd have to... Well, the problem is Hollow Knight already has a game style that it's emulating, and that's Metroidvania. That's the reason they don't describe it as a Souls-like, is that it's already taking the Metroidvania formula.
This hits the Metroidvania formula. Like, it's a side-scrolling platformer where you get, like, the double jump ability and the wall cling ability. Well, no, the wall cling is only special walls. You don't get that. But, like, there are abilities that are typical to that style of game that are in this game. That's how the game mechanically works. I don't think that's how the Souls games work. Do you get the double jump in Dark Souls?
Nope.
Do you get a wall climb ability? Do you get, like, a charged attack?
Charged attack depends on your weapon.
Yeah, no, but like, no, that's so, like, so why is this a Souls game? Souls-like.
What is the game called again?
Nine Souls. It is, and it's SOLS, so, like, the son is named Saul. Maybe it's a Souls-like because it's got the word souls in it.
Let me see here.
Okay, people in my chat are... Oh, yeah. Apparently, my Twitch stream is registered as me playing Fortnite. Because that's what we did last week. Midnight Lilac 9 says, better than Nine Souls, all about the feet. Depends if you're into that. Okay. While you are looking up whatever the fuck you are looking up, I'm going to see if I can maybe change my Twitch thing to be just chatting. No, that's just the title.
So it's being described as a Metroidvania in the video that I'm watching right now.
Okay,
Then
why were all the fucking people on Reddit saying it's a Souls-like, that's why you lose your money?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm mad at Reddit. This is irrelevant, and it doesn't matter at all. It's just one of those, like, if you're describing a game to me based on other games that I have not played, that doesn't actually help with the description, is my point.
I understand why it's called that. Okay.
Because the bosses are really big and hard?
It's both. It is designed to be both. The developers and reviewers have noted that it is a blend of Hollow Knight and Sekiro. And Sekiro is just a Souls-like game with samurai. That's what it's going for. It has the aspects of both cleanly because it is trying to be both of those things.
Okay. But my point is that saying it's a Souls-like is not a valid answer to the question, why do I, like, is there a way for me to not lose my money?
I guess it's just It's the same reason why you're playing an FPS is a valid answer to why can't I zoom out past my character's head. I guess
Yeah,
that's
but
what they're going for.
in that case, the answer is literally in the definition of what first person means, and that it, like that one actually makes sense. It's like, why can't I zoom out? Because it's a first person shooter, so it's in first person, so that's why you can't zoom out. Whereas this, like, Souls-like does not definitionally contain words that mean you lose all your money.
Right, but now we're at the reason why the girls can't join the Boy Scouts is because Ben Shapiro said so thing. I think
mean,
it's,
that
like
kind
I said,
of supports my point here, in that the label doesn't fucking matter, just answer the goddamn question.
Well, no, I agree with you there. I'm saying that this is a problem that video games have had because of how their genres developed. We didn't develop our genres off of narrative the way that movies did. We developed our genres based off of vibes, like literally just off of vibes.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean, like, you could do the same thing for video games. Like, Nine Souls could be called a thriller horror video game.
Well, yeah, but
there's a lot of body horror in it.
If it's a thriller horror video game, that is the aesthetics of the game, but with gameplay. With games, the biggest thing about them is not their aesthetics. The biggest thing about them is how they play. So,
yeah, also, if it was described as thriller horror, I probably never would have picked it up.
Like, if it's a thriller horror
I had
game,
no, like, just from the pictures I had seen of other people playing it and stuff, I had no idea the amount of gore that was going to be in this game.
Oh, Sarah Chikorita also pointed out that, like, the original name that we used for first-person shooters wasn't actually first-person shooters. It was Doom Clone. We used to just call them all Doom clones. Like, this is a problem that games have grown up with, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, we need to do better. Okay, I think that's we've talked about this long enough. I think it's time to end the stream.
Never long enough, but
Never
sure.
long enough. Okay, well, thanks for joining me. Are you streaming after this?
It's 11:02. Maybe for a little bit.
Okay, I will raid you with all my people that are probably already in your audience.
Okay.
Or should I raid someone else?
That's entirely up to you.
I don't know. Chat, who should I raid? Search and filter. No, sort by... How about someone that I follow? How do you do that? Where is that? Oh yeah, there we go. Following. Quick filters. Ah, Necosaurus is streaming.
Weird. Who the fuck's that?
Ah, fucking Elijah from Linus Tech Tip is streaming. Let's do that. We're doing Elijah.
Okay.
Okay. See you later.
See ya.